All right, ladies and gentlemen, so we're going to be trying to make a video here. This one's going to be a bit of a long one as we slowly slog our way through this thing. Today we're going to be talking about Ret Paladin, specifically where the heck Ret Paladin lethality even comes from. Just my general observations on Ret Reckoning, or more specifically, let's see, what do we got here? Ret-Reck, Resto-Shaman, in Arena. So I've been watching people's videos like mosquito videos. They're awesome for a resto shaman's perspective on the subject, and then a few other paladin videos are really great for the paladin's perspective. So we got mosquito here, great for resto shaman perspective. This guy doesn't have a lot of videos, but from what I see, what he's doing, he's doing good stuff, and I really want to talk about it. It's going to be a good point in this video. And then S-Van is about to do something god awful here that I have to make a separate video on, but or whatever. So we'll talk about it later. All right, so I expect a lot of you guys are going to be kind of new to the channel. I typically don't make Ret guides, especially for the arena. Generally speaking, it's not really my cup of tea. Let's see, go. I want this to go away. Okay, yeah, you can go away. Generally speaking, I'm not known for the guy who makes Ret Paladin, PvP videos and blah, 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 blah. But I do keep up on the Ret side of the theory craft, if that makes any sense. So a lot of you new here might be like, who the hell are you to talk about, Ret Paladin, blah, 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 blah. You're basically just stuck down in the dumps playing some Holy Paladin, Argent Defender, retardation, basically, right? Illumination and blah, 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 blah. Nothing in the Ret tree, Argent Defender, yeah. Okay. So who the hell am I to even talk about the subject here? All right, well, we can answer that really quick with a search on my actual channel here. So this is my channel on YouTube. Obviously, you're watching a video here right now. Watch me click Manage Videos and then go Search. Okay, so we're going to search TBC, see what pops up. We're going to say Show All Results. And we're going to scroll all the way down to the bottom out of 75. Oh my God. We're going to go to the very old videos that I did. And one of them is going to be like, aha, here we go. Okay. So this video right here is like 5 years old or something, or some nonsense like this, published in 2021 in February. And it's titled Ret Reckoning Might Be Back in TBC and Be Objectively Superior to Deep Ret TLDR Below. So let's pull up this video really quick here. All right, let's pause it. Okay, cool. Hold off on public. Okay. No. I'm talking about Sacred Duty. Okay. So already we can see in this visual we're very close to the modern Ret Reckoning Paladin in the arena. This was specifically about dueling, I do believe. This video, god damn, this video looks like shit and is very old. But you can see that we have 10 points in the Holy Tree, primarily because it's a dueling. You kind of need to heal yourself. But you can see that we're talking about the basics. Yeah, what am I trying to even say here? At some point in this video, I basically mention if you take it into the arena with a shaman, it could probably do pretty well. I can't remember if I suggested taking the 10 points out of here and plugging it into the Ret tree instead. But obviously that's modern Ret Reckoning Paladin is literally just these 10 points get moved out over here. That's very cute. Where the hell? So I guess it's F11? Yes, okay. Let's scroll down and look at what the comments say, because that's usually I'll do like an hour-long video, but a lot of people, you can just pull up my comments in the subject. So again, this is 5 years old. This video is 5 years old. Let me start reading. Doing math and theory crafting on Crusader Strike versus just a plain Seal of Blood Sasila Command Seal Twist is showing Crusader Strike to be possibly not worth it. Like a 10% at most increase to your DPS over Seal Twisting damage rather than Crusader Striking. Okay, so you're actually getting more damage from... It should be more damage from Crusader Striking over Twisting, but this is trying to say that we're getting more damage over the Twist over the Crusader. Damn, alright. Has to do with your GCD being overtaxed, making it hard to Seal Twist, period. It should be alone. seal twist, and get off Crusader Strikes. Crusader Strike also costs like way too much mana. It's rather deep into the ret tree, but I'll probably say as much here in a second. After painstakingly looking at the lines of play, aka where you can safely twist and Crusader Strike without getting soft CC pushed, aka getting rooted or slowed in a GCD, for example, punished, soft CC punished. Paladin play in PvP seems to have room for blah 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 blah. Where the hell a twisted auto will proc blood and seal a command proc will proc blood, Crusader Strike procs nothing. Right, Crusader Strike procs nothing, that's another big thing. Okay, let's get on to the Reckoning. Reckoning is not taxing on your GCD. You can still seal twist, and it is very likely in official TBC, one twist on Reckoning will get two twist attacks, right? So that did end up being the thing in actual TBC. This video was made even before TBC re-relaunch came out, like way back in the past. So this is literally tested on like the Warmain Henhouse private server, basically. Based on how Reckoning is coded, it will either be 2 autos, 2 bloods, 2 autos plus 2 bloods, plus 2 seal of command chances, and each can proc seal of blood. Maybe I should have said Windfury here. Well, I guess we're talking about this in terms of a PvP. Anyways, you get the idea. The modern day Ret Paladin is, if you trace back its lineage, it's probably traced back to a few videos I made in the subject 4 or 5 years ago, basically talking shit about Crusader Strike and how Crusader Strike is it's just too much mana. It's difficult to support. Finding the GCDs for the thing is really painful when you're trying to stick on somebody. And then we start looking at the talent points you can give up to even get Crusader Strike. Very quickly, those talent points are better off spelt elsewhere, specifically to pick up 5 out of 5 Reckoning and Sacred Duty. Right now, where I have the video paused, I'm blathering away about how Sacred Duty is absolutely amazing and makes Wings look like hot garbage and complete and utter dog shit. But right, this is the dueling theory craft. I wasn't really messing around with Arena at the time. So a little history lesson on the subject. During the first launch of TBC, my primary goal was to make Paladin the #1 duelist, the #1 dueling class in TBC. I did succeed at doing that. It is currently probably, in my opinion at least, and my opinion is probably pretty legit, the best dueling class in all of TBC is either a Holy Shockeye Paladin or an Argent Defender Paladin. This time around in TBC, I'm interested in making Paladin basically S+ tier, or as good as it possibly can be in the arena. The 2 Paladin candidates that are showing promise for this right now, one is the Ret-Reckoning Paladin, which is what we're looking about right here, and what we're going to be talking about today, F11. And since I don't play that, nor do I really have the mechanical skills to mess around with Ret Paladin too much, I basically like to make Theorycraft videos on the Ret Paladin, and then let you guys take it into the arena, and I can both visually and look at the comments and see for myself whether or not my theorizing is surviving contact with the enemy or not. So since other people are dealing with Ret Paladin, I'm currently over here trying to make a better version of Holy Paladin. So basically, rather than Holy Shock, this thing's got 5 out of 5 Argent Defender. It's got even more standing effective HP. That standing effective HP is being turned into an ungodly amount. Let me put up Blessing of Wisdom. An ungodly amount of MP5 and just insane mana stats in the arena. Just trying to make a better version of Holy Paladin, and then I'm trying to make a 2's comp work on Holy Paladin, which is Pally Rogue. We already know Paladin Warrior is a legit comp in 2's. I'm trying to make Paladin Rogue a legit comp in 2's, while at the same time, trying to innovate on the class over the side. So that's where I'm at right now on Paladin. The only thing this Paladin is missing before I go push rating in the arena, I want to get. Can we talk to this guy? Like, we DC'd. Thank you, Blizzard. That's very nice of you. What this Paladin is missing in the arena is I got to get. Oh, that's my internet having issues. I need to get Justicar Pauldrons before I go into the arena, and I need to get my legs so I can actually get the 4-set bonus for the Hodge stun, and then I need to get a Magtheridon head so I can get this amazing ring basically right here. Let me try to log back in on Blizzard here for a hot second, and we'll get started on the actual math and talk about Ret Paladin in no uncertain terms. La 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 la. Just doing history lessons and stuff right now. Would you hurry up, dick fuck? Okay, cool. So I'm basically right now I'm explaining why my arena rating is shit and I don't have any videos on the subject, yada yada yada. Oh, is that where we were? Adorable. Right, so I've got this ring instead of the Magtheridon head ring. It's got the MP5, but it doesn't have, like, the 50 some or so odd plus healing. It also will give me a bit more intellect, lose a little bit of stamina, and then the good old Justicar Pauldrons are actually really damn good. That's the wrong one. Here we go. Yeah. So this will give me more plus healing. I lose spell crit. I lose the resilience. Don't really care about the resilience. But picking up a bunch of plus healing here and getting additional 5 MP5 is absolutely amazing. Obviously, this trinket becomes a PvP trinket in the arena, and I gotta do a whole video on how I'm slowly but surely falling in love with this fucking trinket right here. By the end of this Ret video, you guys might also be in love with this stupid Talasite owl, even on Ret Paladin. Like, unironically, when I start talking about where your actual Ret Paladin lethality comes from, you're going to be like, what the fuck? It actually comes from you getting a Reckoning proc. Okay, so I'll just spoil the ending here. It comes from you getting a Reckoning proc and you having enough mana to make use of that Reckoning proc, both from a seal twisting perspective, from a Hodge stunning perspective, if that's available, and from a getting the fuck out of CC's perspective, right? I'm sure you've noticed this if you've been playing Reckoning in the arena. The math is showing in no uncertain terms that if you're seal twisting without a Reckoning proc, you're probably wasting a lot of your mana for no good fucking reason. We'll talk about that in a second. But the moment you get a Reckoning proc on your Paladin, like you actually have a Reckoning proc to use, the math on your lethality goes up dramatically. The math is basically saying it's like if you don't have Reckoning, there's something like let me think. There's like a 1 in 4 chance per seal twist that you get good RNG on said seal twist. Okay, that's without Reckoning. With Reckoning, there's like an 80% chance that every seal twist gives you good RNG on said seal twist. It just has to do with, so it's like, oh fuck, do I need to make it... I guess I have to explain the mechanics of how your white attacks actually proc Reckoning and command and all that shit in order for you to understand this. I'm stuck in this weird place where I simultaneously have to assume that you guys are clueless monkeys, and at the same time are like incredibly well-informed veterans, right? Like, so I'm just, if you're a veteran, I'm stuck explaining shit to you that you already know. But basically what happens, thank you. But what happens in your seal twist, let's get the hell out of here. Log out. Yeah, get me the hell out of here. I don't want to be here no more. You can fuck off. That would be nice. Okay. So basically what happens in your seal twist, and I want you to direct your eyes down here for a hot second. Like, there's my little indicator. And all this, like, weird math that we have going down here. So basically what's happening on the left of this screen really fast, zip, zip. Okay, cool. That should do. Is this right here is a visual indicator of, like, all the possibilities behind what one of your auto attacks can do. So your auto attack could white hit and proc Seal of Blood with neither of them critting. It could white hit where the white hit crits and proc Seal of Blood, but Seal of Blood doesn't crit. Red basically means crit here, right? And basically every white attack that you're doing on your enemy is basically rolling like a die 100, and each of these has like a % chance of happening basically to the enemy, blah 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 blah. But one of these 20 things will fucking happen to your enemy every time you're basically white attacking them. When Windfury procs, you basically get an entire new fucking die roll on this table. Okay, you follow me on this shit? That's like how do I put this? Every white attack has like a 20% chance to proc Windfury. Every seal a command proc has a 20% chance to proc Windfury. This makes it like that's how you get like a 25% chance on this table here that you can proc Windfury off of any given seal twisted command and blood without reckoning. When you have reckoning, you get to add an entire another fucking table to this equation. So this doesn't say Windfury anymore. This just says reckoning. So now with reckoning, you get to roll on two fucking tables with each white attack having a 20% chance to proc Windfury. Each command that hits the target has a 20% chance to proc Windfury. Very quickly, the odds of Windfury go from a 25% chance to proc Windfury to like an 80% chance to proc Windfury when you have a Reckoning proc. Holy fuck. And of course, that's an 80% chance that you're rolling on 3 of these fucking tables to see what their results are. All right, let's look at this other one over here. So this is me over here trying desperately to figure out what the fuck the RNGesus is on any given, like, block of this shit. Alright, just bear with me here. Okay, so, like, this entire block right here of possibility is 32 out of 100. Okay? So out of 100 auto attacks, there's a 32% chance one of these fucking things happens. Do I know how to calculate what percentage of each of these has to happen? Honestly, no. Like, somebody else might be better at statistics and probability to figure that out for me. But at some point, you're so mathematically in the weeds that the information isn't really useful anymore. You can also see that some of these are kind of doubled. So like a white crit, a blood crit, and a command proc, and a blood that doesn't proc, is equal to, where is it? Is equal to this one, right? Mathematically speaking, these two are identical. Mathematically speaking, these two are also identical. But each of them are going to have like the exact same chance to proc. So you could simplify this. You'd basically simplify this formula. Number 10 would say times 2. Number 11 would say times 2. And there's probably another, like a double blood or something. No, double blood can't times 2. What's this? White and command. Do we have a double white and command? No, we do not. Okay, got it. So some of those are overlapping, as you can see. The more interesting one is the 48 out of 100. There's a 48% chance that you get this out of a white attack. Okay, which is pretty dog ass. That means there's a 48% chance that you didn't get. I think it means there's a 48% chance you didn't get Windfury, and you didn't get a command proc, which would make sense because the command proc would likely proc Windfury, right? So you can see that we're very close to. There's a 50% chance per auto attack that our attacks like kind of do nothing. This is another reason why Reckoning is so valuable. Reckoning would likely drop this 48% chance that our attacks basically didn't do fuck all down to like a 20% chance that our attacks literally did fuck all. And even then, a Reckoning fuck all, it could go Super Saiyan, even on its own terms. So the moral of the story, just to TLDR it here for you, is if you're seal twisting, if you're spending the mana to seal twist into an enemy and you do not have a Reckoning proc, there better be a good goddamn reason why you're wasting your mana on that seal of the casino bullshit. Whereas once you have a Reckoning proc, it is cancerous ass to your lethality. If you have a Reckoning proc on you as a Ret Paladin in the arena and you do not have the mana to make use of it. If your combat situation is, I have Reckoning that procced, but I don't have the mana to make use of it, you done fucked up somewhere as a Paladin, or you got mana drained or mana burned or some shit. My current theory on Paladin lethality is that you should be leaning on your enemies in the arena with as much DPS as you can while conserving your mana bar as best as you can, specifically so that you have enough mana so that when Reckoning does happen, you can make use of it, right? And really good enemy teams won't proc Reckoning very often. So, but they still have to do something to get your DPS off of them. So if you're fighting like Druid Rogue or some shit like that, the Rogue is gonna have to like try to gouge stun you every now and then, and that can proc Reckoning. If you're not wasting your mana, a priest is gonna have to mana burn it off of you. And every mana burn, well, for one thing, it's less mana efficient for them to mana burn it off of you than it is for you to convert your mana into DPS, put it on like the Warlock or the Priest, and then have them heal it. But I'll talk about that fucking later. But if you force them to mana burn your mana bar down, every mana burn is a chance to proc Reckoning, right? And then, of course, if you have that like weird Talasite trinket that you might fall in love with at the end of this video, this thing is going to guarantee that even if you are completely out of mana and Reckoning happens, you can just push trinket, and the next thing you know, you're going to have the mana to make use of that incredibly lethal Reckoning proc. Mana burns be damned, not to mention the MP5 is kind of insane. Moral of the story basically is that your lethality doesn't come from I jump on a motherfucker and I seal twist hoping for Windfury procs without Reckoning. That is likely a complete and utter waste of your fucking mana and possibly a waste of time. And it's from a mathematical perspective, it's definitely a waste of your your lethality. That's not to say it can't work, but what you don't have Crusader Strike, right? So, but what is a complete negative to your lethality in the arena is a Windfury procs and you don't have any mana because you've been wasting it on RNGesus looking for my bad. When Reckoning procs and you don't have the mana to make use of it, that is going to reduce your lethality. When Reckoning procs and you don't have the mana to make use of it, specifically because you've been trying to seal the casino off of Windfury, that is going to reduce your lethality compared to if you just leaned on motherfuckers with like your very mana efficient DPS and waited for Reckoning 2 proc and then guaranteeing that you have plenty of mana to make use of that Reckoning proc to try to blow people up. Ugh. Anyways, that's the little TLDR in there. We'll go into like some math here in a hot second. All right, let's look at the bigger picture then. Okay, so I've been watching all these videos. Let's talk about my findings so far, and we'll actually watch some arena videos. My first finding from watching people play Resto in the arena is that the Resto-Shaman seem very comfortable at between 9.5k HP. But somewhere between 9 to 9.5k HP, Mosquito's been like happily surviving almost everything in 2's arena off of that. With the sole exception of that low HP might be a little difficult for might be a little easy for Frost mages to crack. A little bit more easy than they would like. Maybe some other spellcasters are a little bit scary. So if it's like Holy Shock, Paladin, Palm Pyro, 9.5k HP with nothing to hump around, so like Lordaeron Arena or some shit like that could get really scary really fast for them. Having your NS on a hair trigger is very useful. The Paladin can do some stuff to help out, especially against like Mage Rogue. So like when my as a Paladin healer, when my partner gets opened up on Mage Rogue, the first GCD out of me is usually to bubble, because I'm usually CC'd and I just need to bubble immediately. My second GCD is to Hodge stun the mage because the mage is usually casting a spell. My third GCD is to put Blessing of Protection on my arena partner because that will not only remove the rogue stun but also removes the rogue's DPS from the burst equation, and it makes the warlock, the mage have to make a hard decision because the mage is just going to trinket my Hodge stun, right, or just ice block cancel it, right? He doesn't give a shit. But the whole reason we threw the Hodge stun is because it interrupted the mage's spellcast. I'm assuming my arena partner is like rooted in place and there's a rogue on top of him, and I'm like sapped or blinded or some shit. There might be a Blessing of Sacrifice. There might not be a Blessing of Sacrifice, right? I bring this up because the Ret Paladin can do the same thing. Okay, the Ret Paladin has the same toolkit. He just can't heal anywhere near as well as the Holy Paladin can. So all these things that I can do to help against Rogue Mage Burst, the Ret Paladin can help against Rogue Mage Burst. So again, it was Bubble, Stun the fucking Mage, and then Bop, Arena Partner, and then my next GCD is usually to start spamming Cleanse because I want that root off my Arena Partner. That's going to be incredibly easy to get off under the vast majority of circumstances. So I'll get off that route before the mage can actually complete their incredibly lethal shatter combo. This will usually force them to Ice Nova you with their pet because they'll have 2 Ice Novas. And then, of course, that's when you use your freedom. And that's kind of the best option even you have as a Ret Paladin. So I don't know if 9.5k HP is okay against Frost Mage Rogue, specifically if the Ret Paladin knows how serious to take it and what to do. And I think what to do is some variant of what the fuck I just described. But the last thing you want to do as the Ret Paladin, or even as a Holy Paladin, really, is to bubble and spam heal your ally. Because there's a chance RNG just like blows him up anyways. That'll change if he's a bit thicker with a bit more resilience, but you just don't want to go there. The Bop is incredibly... It also makes the Mage make hard decisions, because the Mage has to try to spell steal the Bop away, right? The Blessing of Protection, so is Rogue, and while that's happening... depending upon RNG for stealing the Bop away, they're not doing their Shatter combo, which gives you all the time in the world to cleanse off the Frost Nova, and then you still have freedom available for the next Frost Nova. You really just don't want your Frost Nova anywhere near your arena partner in that opener specifically. It also helps your ally get really mobile really quickly, so your ally could like Frost Shock or even Ghost Wolf. I guess if it's a shaman, they because the bop's gonna get them out of stun, right? So the moment they're bopped, they're still rooted in place, but they can do something. So they could like if they're already in Ghost Wolf form, they're basically just waiting for you to cleanse them, and then they can start getting mobile. And like so, we're talking like Frost Shock Rogue, get mobile for what the mobility's worth. Maybe they can start line of sighting, blah 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 blah. So yeah. So that's my first observation. Is it's like, the shamans are feeling comfortable with 9.5k hit points in the arena in their heavy armor. And from what I can see, Mosquito's probably going in the direction of between 10 to 10.5k. Let's pull up him in the video right here. You can't see his hit points, but he shows them earlier on. He's like 9.5k ish, and he's probably going in the direction of like 10.5k. The other element of him feeling comfortable with that amount of HP and armor might be Blessing of Sacrifice is often on him. So he has like Blessing of Sacrifice on him like right now, which means like he's taking Blessing of Sacrifice, if it's allowed to sit on him for any real length of time, is worth like thousands of hit points of extra, especially against rogues, of extra HP, right? So really good stuff. So the whole reason why this fascinates me at the higher levels of Arena is because it helps me try to understand, as the Holy Shock Paladin, am I going to be okay with 10,750 HP and with like 5 out of 5 Argent Defender? Well, if the fucking Resto-Shamans are comfy at like with 9,500 partnered with a Paladin, I'm probably going to be like super comfy with this insane amount of effective HP. This Paladin's probably got close to like 13,000 effective hit points for the purposes of trying to blow him the fuck up. And then of course even heavier armor, 5 out of 5 toughness as well. Someone asked me in a video recently about the 5 out of 5 toughness, like why the fuck? It's because this can get dispelled and spell stolen by all manner of shit in the arena, making it very, and it costs way too much mana to re-up. Anticipation is probably better than toughness, but you can't get the value of anticipation if you're being hit from behind. If you're stunned, you can't block, dodge, or parry, as every good Ret Paladin knows. And also, what is it? Oh, while you're healing, you can't block, dodge, or parry either. So since this is a healer paladin, we just put the fucking 5 points into toughness. I also don't have kings with this build because kings, and this might happen with you with a ret paladin too. It's very nice to start off with kings in the arena in theory, but your healer's probably better off with either blessing of sacrifice or a blessing of wisdom or even a sanctuary, which is what I'm deep enough into the tree to do. Uh, and kings just gets dispelled. So it kind of just doesn't do anything. Meh. It can kind of help, I suppose, versus like Mage Rogue Burst, because in theory they want to dispel that. But their opening is going to be like Sap, Paladin, Mage does his spell stealing shit, and then they go for Burst, right? Or it'd be like Sap, Paladin, Sheep, Shaman, or some crap, kill, Tremor Totem, and then they're going to spell steal all the shit off you and try to blow you the fuck up. So I can't really make kings work the vast majority of the time, so it's just bleh, whatever. What else is there to say here? Oh, let me cough. There we go. Take a drink of water. Right, we were going to watch some videos, and I'm slowly picking my way through my observations here. Okay, second observation. Blessing of Sacrifice damage on Paladin into mana gain from healing is decent. So it costs you something like 130 mana to put Blessing of Sacrifice on your ally. Blessing of Sacrifice on your ally is worth, depends on what's happening, but it's often worth like all kinds of crazy shit. CC protection, at least an extra 1,000 HP for them trying to kill your opponent. It only has to transfer, let me think. It has to transfer like 1,300 damage over to your paladin in order for you to recover its mana cost when healed. So there's this weird thing going on with Blessing of Sacrifice where the Ret Paladins are putting Blessing of Sacrifice on... the Ret Paladins are putting Blessing of Sacrifice on the Shaman for all the CC benefits and for all the durability benefits that it gives a Shaman. But they're also taking damage from it, which allows the Shaman to heal the Paladin, and the Paladin can basically recover often more mana than the blessing actually cost. So it's kind of like a weird half-ass MP5 blessing. It's decent. Like that whole combination there, if the enemy's not dispelling, is basically decent. It's also possible for you to put Blessing of Sacrifice on your Shaman and to put Blessing of Wisdom on yourself. Now, you might be like, Palatine, that's fucking retarded. I'd prefer to have, like, Might on my Paladin. Well, remember what I said earlier, where it's like, the worst thing you can do in the arena is have a Reckoning proc and no mana to use it. That's the worst thing you can possibly do to your lethality. And if you guys are like down in the dumps, we'll watch a video here that in a second. If you guys are down in the dumps where you don't have any mana as a paladin, your shaman doesn't have any mana, like shaman's operating like 30% mana, and the enemy team is kind of in this weird same boat. Blessing of Wisdom on you is worth its weight in fucking gold. Like, holy Christ, is it? If you're running around beating on things with might under those combat conditions, like, you are clinically imbecilic. Put Wisdom on yourself, put Sack on your ally, thank me later. Okay, number 3, mana management for most Ret Paladins is terrible and is possibly due to a lack of understanding of Ret's lethality. That's the whole purpose why we're talking about this video right now, so let's continue. I might need to teach you guys how to catch and stick targets in the arena. Oh my god, yes. I'm going to make a separate video on this concerning like S-Fan. So let's just watch this clip really fast. Really don't want to shit on S-Fan, but he's a really good example of... S-Fan's a great example of a guy who is really mechanically good as a paladin, but he fucks up the most basic shit. And so he just ends up in videos where I have to teach you guys like the basics of paladin shit. Oh my god. Okay, so let's look here for a second. So here we see a druid, okay? And S-Fan I think is around here somewhere. Oh no, here's S-Fan. This is probably S-Fan. So S-Fan is going to try to close the distance in this arena and get on this druid, okay? Now, I've made videos on how to close distance in a dueling circle, steady bearing, decreasing distance. It puts you on a not only an intercept course, but a collision course, blah, 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 blah. I'll have to make a separate video here, like tomorrow or something, like showing you guys how to do this very specifically. But what's about to happen here is S. Fondi is going to go chase this druid like a nooblet. Okay? This is not how you chase druids. Okay, see him over here. He's chasing. He's chasing. He's chasing. Okay, okay. There we actually did. He did it correctly. Okay, so he started angling. Okay, yes. Now homie is angling correctly. This shit that he was doing like this, where he's like, is not how you catch a druid. Right now he is angling correctly. He is running to a point somewhere over here while the druid is doing this lazy circle like this. Now he's intercepting correctly on the druid, but up until this point he was doing it terribly. So we can barely see him off in the distance. He's actually on a proper collision course over there. Yeah, he got him. Okay, cool. But god damn, was that painful to watch for a while there. Okay, so with the druid taking a path like this, right? Like or something like that, Esfand should be basically operating in sharp angles. He should cut right over here, and then based on whether the druid is running this way or is running that way at that point, make a decision to cut over here or make a decision to cut over here, right? He should either go this way in a straight line or he should go this way in a straight line, depending upon where the druid is. This lazy shit where he basically gets on the druid's ass and then goes, oh shit, I need an intercept course, and then actually plots an intercept course is dog ass. Like don't do this at all. So he should cut over here, which he'd be there right about now, and then you'd still see the druid running that direction, so he should start angling this way. I'll make a separate video on how to do it. Where he's at right now, he needs to angle like over here. He should be strafing basically in this direction, basically strafing towards where his sanctuary aura actually is, or actually Mosquito's sanctity aura is. There's a very easy way to do this in-game, to actually keep track of this in-game. It's called steady bearing, decreasing distance. I'll make an entire video on the subject, yada, yada, yada. But basically, from your perspective, what's going to happen is the druid's going to be like, on your screen, the druid's going to be like over here. And your goal is to run at such an angle that the distance between you and the druid is decreasing, but the druid is not moving to the left or to the right on your screen. When you have that angle, when the druid is neither moving this way on your screen or that way on your screen, but the distance between you is closing, is shrinking, you are not just on an intercept course, you are on a collision course. We use this in the Navy. I talked about it before, where in the Navy, if you see a ship on the horizon, you hold your you stick your thumb over it and close one eye, and you basically wait. And if the ship moves you basically cover the ship with your thumb, right? And then if the ship moves either to the left or to the right of your thumb, so you can see it like slowly coming to moving into your vision range outside of your thumb, that means you're not on an intercept or collision course with that vessel. If the distance between you and that vessel is decreasing, but the object or the vessel is not moving, you literally cannot gain vision of it's not moving to the left or your right of your thumb anymore. You're not just on a intercept course, you're on a collision course. You're using the exact same principle to basically cut people off in the arena better. So yeah, Esfand should have gone shink, shink. Mostly because this thing is in the way. If it was a different arena or a dueling circle, we would literally just angle straight on over here, because he needs to be over here by the time he's actually going to intercept the druid. If he ran at a proper angle, he'd probably intercept the druid somewhere around here, assuming this fucking thing wasn't in the way. But since he does this weird, lazy, I'm going to get on this druid's ass, like this is terrible angle. Right now, he needs to angle this way. He needs to angle this way in order to get an intercept course. You can almost see it moving to the left and the right from his screen. Like let's take it, look at it from his screen. So the druid's right here from Esfand's perspective. If we think about it as a clock, right? Esfand's 12 o'clock is like right here. His 11 o'clock is over here, and his 1 o'clock is over here. Well, okay, now the druid is 12 o'clock from Esfand's perspective right now. Now the druid is closing in on 1 o'clock from his perspective, so he's moving. The druid's literally moving like this on his screen right now. So now he plots an intercept course, so he's adjusted to hold him at a 10 o'clock position, and now the distance is decreasing between them while the druid's not really moving all that well. So anyways, I'll have to make a separate video on that. So I watched this. It drove me fucking insane. Please stop fucking up the basics. God damn, did that hurt my brain. Let me find a longer, like, rogue versus, that was kind of cool, but I want the long one. Where's the really long, like, 28-minute fight? Yeah, this Resto Druid fight. So this fight was very interesting to watch because I need to compare these two paladins. So what I really like about this paladin's gameplay in the arena is this motherfucker reminds me of Drakova with how stingy he is about using his mana bar. This guy has it in his brain that his lethality comes from his reckoning procs, and he needs to conserve his mana as much as possible in order to save it for the reckoning procs, which I think is the correct line of play for your paladin. And if I watch this video here, once we get through this fucking ad, we should see the opposite of this, where a Ret Paladin is just like, why am I always blah, 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 blah. Now, they're going to win eventually because they're raw, like, you know, MP5 efficiency and shit like that. Would you fuck off? They're going to win eventually due to their, like, raw MP5 efficiency. But let's watch how quickly this one Ret Paladin... Let's watch the start of this. Let's compare a tale of two paladins. The first paladin... Let's see how quickly our boy ooms, and then let's see if he ever gets his mana back ever. Okay, so is the fighting starting? I think he's cycloned, so it's gonna start like now. Okay, cool. Let's see how long it takes him to burn through this 6k mana. All right, he is seal twisting his happy little ass off. Which, remember, we already talked about. If you don't have reckoning, this is a terrible idea. It's a complete waste of mana. Maybe he has reckoning right now. Maybe he doesn't. No idea. Let me speed up a little bit. So we're going to jump ahead like 5 seconds at a time here. Our boy is just seal twisting his happy little ass off. Okay, cool. Seal twisting. Got some mana back. Okay, cool. Boo, 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 boo. Can we go ahead? Can my internet not shit the bed while I'm making a fucking video? Thank you very much. We're 2 minutes 30 seconds into this video, probably like 1 minute into this fight, and if our Ret Paladin isn't thinking about being mana conscious, right now he should. So your brain as a Ret Paladin in the arena should think like this. I don't give a fuck what you do with your mana bar, but if you're dropping below having enough mana to take advantage of a Reckoning proc if it happens, you're doing something wrong. So right now our boy needs to start thinking about being a bit more mana efficient. I don't know if he has a Reckoning proc. He's clearly going for a burst. Let me turn on some audio. Let's see if he actually does have a Reckoning proc. And he's being a good boy, and he's ooming himself off a Reckoning proc at the least. Okay.
Well, maybe not. I think it's okay. I think it's okay, actually, what I'm doing. It's a prep evasion soon, I think.
Casting on you?
Should odd him.
Just going to Hodge him. Okay. The Druid still has enough mana to heal through your Hodge. The RNG without Reckoning, if you actually doing anything here, is really, really bad. This is about to be a complete waste of mana.
The Bloomsday
I'm
fall?
gonna tide during that.
Yeah.
Keep Druid.
Okay.
Keep him?
Okay, mana tiding. Okay, cool. That's how he
He's killing
some
it.
mana back.
Yeah.
I'll just rep on this. Oh, he's searing, bro. I didn't see.
Huh.
But he's kind of searing.
Druid's
Okay,
out
okay, okay.
of mana here.
I want to see when he ooms himself, and why did he oom himself? Did he oom himself because, like, if he's just leaning on targets with, like, rank 1 Seal of Command or, like, a Seal of Blood and just conserving that remainder of his mana until he gets a Reckoning proc, I'm happy. Throwing the Hodge stun for kind of just DPS is weird, because if you get a Reckoning proc because you got Gouge stunned or some shit like that, because that's kind of what they have to do to you sometimes, or shivved poison on or something like that. This is still a very lethal, very scary paladin because he has the mana. So I want to see where he is.
You okay? I freedom you?
Okay.
Right now. Go.
Where did did you yourself? Okay, this I can live with. Uh-oh, okay.
This is not good for me.
What do you yourself? Ooh, okay.
I don't want to trigger though. I don't have.
Oh, he uses Hodgson recently. Let's go back.
No step though.
Okay.
I can Hodge him, I guess. Maybe to let the winds fall.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah, let wounds fall. Okay, that works. I'm okay with this. That's fine. Alright, cool. Let the wounds fall. Get some distance. Okay, good Hodge done. I'm happy with that. Is he sealing wisdom on himself? He's got freedom. Freedom helps him, like, close distance. Oh, no, that's his CD. So I have no fucking idea what kind of seal. I guess I can tell if Mosquito heals Rogue? Like, do we have wisdom or are we using might, is my question. Okay, I want to find...
Blood judge that, bro.
Okay, let's see here.
Or is this can you?
What's happening here? I'm actually doing big damage to him, Maybe I twist?
Yep, druid.
Okay, so do we have Reckoning and we're twisting? That's...
Oh, how did I blood judge that, bro? It went off. My mana is really bad, though. It's the only problem, and I cannot get out of this, probably.
Okay.
Yeah, I did. I'll keep Druid a little bit. I can hot Rogue here. Maybe less here? If he hits?
I'm gonna list anyway.
Okay. I can't do much, but...
Okay, we're now.
I can try to rep him soon, but he's not.
Okay, he has to heal the Ret Paladin soon.
I don't...
So I can actually see what his blessing is.
I can want to...
Heal the fucking Ret Paladin, Oh, he's got a macro that he can heal him without even targeting it, so I can't even see what kind of blessing he has on. Are you shitting me right now? Are you shitting me right now? What is a trackpad? That's his paladin. Okay, this is his paladin. Why does it have like a warlock symbol on? I don't understand this UI. He does have Seal of Wisdom! Or Blessing of Wisdom, thank Christ. It's actually a really fresh Blessing of Wisdom, meaning he probably just put it on recently. Yikes. Okay, well, anyways. Not the worst gameplay that I've actually seen. Homie did recognize that he needed to conserve his mana as best he could. But to be honest with you, he should have recognized that like from the word go. So once he was down to like 30% remaining mana, he got really mana conscious about using it. So he started playing correctly here, which is fine, right? But honestly, he probably in this particular matchup, it would have been better if he played more conservative with his mana earlier. Is the TLDR. The rest of this fucking video, which is you better fuck off. You better go. Eat my ass. Go away. There's gonna be one after it too, isn't there? Yeah, this is all minute 51 seconds. Yeah, fuck off. Fuck off. Okay, thank you. Anyways, the rest of this fucking video is this Ret Paladin running around as shit. And I have to sit here and listen to, I have Reckoning, but I have no mana. I have Reckoning, but I have no mana. Okay, well, that's an entire fucking possible lethality attempt that does not exist for you anymore because you have no fucking mana. You would have had mana if you would have been more stingy with using your mana from the word go. Okay, so that's the lesson to take from here. Let's get the hell out of here so I stop talking shit about those guys. It's actually, how do I put this? I'm a big fan of learning that I'm doing something wrong, because what that means is not only do I get to learn something, but it's entirely within my power to fix the thing that I'm doing wrong, to fix the problem, right? Yes, it feels bad to learn or to have someone say, I think you're doing something wrong, blah, 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 blah. But the fact that it's within my power to fix it and to grow stronger and get better is awesome in my book. All right, so let's watch this guy by contrast, who, as near as I can tell, is very, okay, yeah, we'll do a rogue, but there might be mana burns here. Let's see how he is with his mana. I was a little bit impressed with his mana conservation in these fights. Rank 1 Consecration. Let's let it ride a hot second. Okay, they're going to sap now. It's not even rocket science. Okay, cool. Opening up. Alright, so we got to talk about mana burn here in a hot second. Or Druid Rogue, that sort of thing. Okay, so you can see he hasn't spent any mana yet. Not really. He doesn't have Reckoning, so he's not even trying. I like it. Okay, so that's Judgment of Justice. Okay, cool. Are we Seal Twisting now? I can't tell. We're burning through some mana. Okay. Do. If he burns through a bunch of mana trying to kill the priest, we'll have to have a conversation about mana efficiency in this. I guess we have to have that conversation anyways. So, it's going to cost the priest something like... Let me pause the video. It's going to cost the priest something like... let me think. It costs the priests like 1 mana to burn 2 of your mana, as a general rule. It gets less efficient for the priest if you have your Shadow Resist aura on, but generally speaking, it's 1 point of their mana to burn 2 of your mana. So it's going to cost them like 3,000 mana to burn away your like your 6k mana bar, and God knows how long of standing still and casting spells while you're basically just beating on them with auto attacks, right? Okay. If you play this other game, which is what we saw the Paladin do with the Rogue in the Mosquito video. Let's say that you can convert your mana as a Paladin into like 2 damage. So you can convert 1,000 of your mana into like 2,000 a damage on the enemy. This is actually a bit of a losing proposition, because then it's only going to cost... The priest can then heal up that 2,000... the priest can then heal up that 2,000 damage for like... I think it's like 320 mana or something. On average, most spellcasters in the game have something like a 6-to-1 mana to heal ratio. So it basically, for 1 mana, they can heal like 6 hit points. There's only a handful of spells that get like better healing ratio than that in TBC. And they're also purgeable hots. So I think for priest, it's something like their rejuvenation, or their only hot basically is like that. Prayer of Mending has a better mana efficiency ratio than that, but for the most part, it's like 6-to-1. And then the most notable spammable hardcast spell that even is worth talking about for on that mana efficiency level is Flash of Light. Flash of Light being like 9-to-1 or 10-to-1 mana efficiency ratio, which is what makes it fucking terrifying from a mana efficiency perspective. Okay, anyways, let's say you spent 1,000 fucking mana. So let's say you somehow converted all your fucking mana into... let me pull up 2 calculators here. Okay, so one is going to be you let them mana burn you, and the other one is going to be you turned all your damage, your mana, into damage on the enemy, and you let them heal through it. Assuming it's 2-to-1, okay? The mage can heal this for however much mana this is. Okay, so it's going to cost them 2,000 fucking mana to heal through your entire fucking mana bar converted into damage under this, math or whatever the fuck. If you let that piece of shit burn you, especially with Shadow Resist aura up, it's going to cost them at a minimum, without Shadow Resist aura, like 3,000 mana. And in realistic terms, it's probably going to cost them more like 4,000 mana with Shadow Resist aura up in order to burn you. Not to mention, the entire time they burned you, they were standing still, hard casting spells, while you were basically probably beating on them with like rank 1 Seal of Command the entire fucking time. Okay? It is far more mana efficient for you as a paladin to make them take out your mana bar, rather than you converting your mana bar into damage on motherfuckers and letting them heal through it. Okay? No idea what our boy is going to do here right now, but I do... I have faith that he's a more mana conservative conscious paladin. Oh, this is Mir. Nice. I didn't know that. I did not know that was Mir. Okay. So our boy is doing a really good job of conserving his mana. He is not wasting his fucking mana. If you want his mana bar down, you're going to have to burn it your own fucking self. Is that a max rank consecration or that's a rank 1? All right, cool. That rank 1 is primarily for the rogue, by the way. It's also to get your enemy to want to move. Things can be so chaotic that the enemy won't notice the consecration doesn't really do any damage, and so they'll actually spend the time to move out of it, which is usually kind of worth it. Okay, so we got him in a Hodge stun. Are we burning our mana at all here? We're barely using any mana. Is that a seal twist? I think that was one seal twist we just did. Okay. Do we have Reckoning? We do not. Okay. Are we still seal? I don't know what we're doing here. Do we have Reckoning? We do not. Okay. Yep. We're just playing the mana game. Okay. That's a seal twist, right? Did we spend some mana on that? We did. Okay. Seal twist. A little bit of mana, a little bit of judgment. Okay. Resealing. That's a clear sign of a seal twist. Okay, yeah, we are spending mana on seal twisting right now. Interesting. But we don't have Reckoning. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna do anything to this priest. So this is probably a waste of mana right now. Okay, we got Blood Elf. That's kind of cool. I suppose it's this weird double-edged sword, which what's happening here right now, because it's like the more the priest is not healing themselves, the more the seal twisting on him was the correct course of action. But from a mana efficiency perspective, we should have just beat on his ass and conserved our fucking mana, basically. So maybe I'm wrong with the theory crafting here. Maybe there's some advantage to pressuring the priest because our guy is getting pressured or some shit. I don't fucking know. But from a mana efficiency perspective, we're not doing anything all that great here. Where is Reckoning? Math? Oh, what the fuck? Okay, well, I didn't learn anything from this. Alright, I'm not sure I learned anything from this. What did I learn? This priest is retarded. That's what I learned. Yeah, this priest basically just killed himself. Yeah, that's a priest death due to stupidity. What the? Like, this priest is moron. Like, I don't know how to describe what the fuck I'm watching anyways. So it's like this weird scenario where it's like your seal twisting is the incorrect line of play, but the more this priest just refuses to keep his life up there, like, this can happen, right? Okay, so like right now, continuing to seal twist is the correct course of action. This priest needs to heal himself to full as soon as possible, but he has Hodge done in like 3 seconds. Earthshock is also available. Desperately needs to heal himself. I think he dies like right here. Hodge stun got resisted or CC and he just explodes. Okay, cool. Any one of these seal twists for a very long time now could have blown him up. Right? Let's count the seal twists that could blow him up. That can blow him up. Okay, that one can blow him up. This one can't blow him up. This one can't blow him up, mathematically speaking. This one maybe can do some stuff. Okay, this one can definitely kill him, possibly, right here. That one could theoretically kill. Bubble. Okay, cool. Do we have Reckoning? Not that I can see anywhere. This one has the possibility of killing, but not likely. This next one right here also has a very likely possibility of killing. I think this is the one that actually kills. Okay, cool. We can actually even see the RNG here. 2 white hits. This is Windfury Totem, I do believe. And then 1 command proc. And this 400, I guess, is Seal of Blood. So we can't see, but there should be 1, 2, 3 seals of blood. Okay, cool. And we don't know if those Seal of Bloods crit or anything like that. Anyways, it cost our paladin something like 50% of his mana bar to do that, and I don't know if that was good. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the priest is just not respecting the potential lethality. Like, it's so annoying. It's like, what do you think the odds are? Okay, so go back. Is this twist? This twist right here can't kill. Okay. Next twist has a possibility of kill if no heal happens. The heal did happen, so this cannot kill. Okay, mathematically speaking, it can't do it. Okay, that one obviously couldn't do anything. This twist right here, due to the heal, can't kill either mathematically. Alright. This one here can. Okay, this one can kill. Okay, dodge. Okay, cool. He's turning his back, which removes the dodge from the equation. That one could theoretically kill, even with the shield up. I do believe. I'm not sure how much shield HP has in TBC. Okay, so that one could kill, and it got pretty decent on the roll. This one can't kill, mathematically speaking, but this one can. So during that whole course of twist, 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 during the course of using something like 50% of our fucking mana bar, we had like 4 opportunities to kill this priest. I don't know if that's on the priest for not respecting the potential damage output or what the hell, but the correct course of action for the priest here is literally just to keep himself at least above 80% life and laugh at this paladin as he wastes all his goddamn mana trying to seal twist. Let's look at a different one, because that wasn't the greatest example of mana conservation. All right, cool. What are we at now? We are okay. It's them again. So it's Mirror and full moron. Okay, cool. Hopefully he learns his lesson here. Or are we gonna go YOLO into them again? Okay, we got Reckoning. Okay, now everything he does is fine here. Holy shit, why did you give him Reckoning? What the fuck were you thinking? So he jumps on him, I think, to try to sap him or something. And this is kind of what happens with rogues, is they... If you're sitting on the rogue, every now and then the rogue's going to want to like gouge stun you or some shit, or shiv crippling on you or something. All these have a chance to proc Reckoning. Yeah, so he's kidney shotting, but he proc Reckoning. Wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if we bubble to protect that Reckoning charge and we start seal twisting into this motherfucker and we start calling for haste. Okay? This is where your lethality is. This is where you're allowed to spend your fucking mana. To spend your mana, to spend your GCDs. Maybe he'll just trinket, but it wouldn't surprise me if we're bubbling here. Okay, we're going to sit. No, we bubbled to protect it. He realized he had Reckoning. Out comes the Lust. All right, cool. And now, oh, pain suppression. Oh, it's beautiful. All right, well, mathematically speaking, every seal twist that flows into this motherfucker has an 80% chance that basically everything procs. I'm talking like there's an 80% chance that he's going to hit you with, is it 2 or 3 auto attacks? Jesus. Yeah, 80% chance 3 auto attacks are flowing out into this priest. And on top of that, you're going to have at least 1 seal of command proc, possibly 2 seal of command procs. Very unlikely to get 3 seal of command procs, but theoretically possible. And all manner of blood, right? This is incredibly fucking lethal. Okay? Even with pain sup, incredibly fucking lethal. Ba-boom. What? What a bunch of absorbs. That sucks dick. Ba-boom. Okay, Reckoning is now gone. Okay, he's back to full life. He's down again. I guess we're lusting, so... Okay, it's still lethal right now, but I'm not the biggest fan of spending mana right now. I guess we got lust, so we might... And he's low life. CC. You're gonna proc Reckoning again, like a dumbass. Okay, we're still twisting, and he gets away. Okay, but that costs pain suppression, so that's cool. Got Reckoning again, but we don't have Bubble to make use of it, but we have plenty of mana. So I think we start swinging on Rogue. We have Hodgestun and 8. Yeah, I still think we're swinging on Rogue, because we might as well. Schwink. Yeah. 1 little swing on the Rogue. Ooh, we got a Reckoning charge, but yeah, we can't really make use of it. Okay, Seal of Justice. Rogue is back on us, because he's a dumbass. Please give me Reckoning again. Please give me Reckoning. Give me Reckoning, you piece of shit. Okay, he's attacking me, gouge stunning me. I got Hodge. No, we don't have Hodge stun. That sucks. What was Mir doing there? That's kind of weird. So the Paladin stunned the Priest, but didn't have Reckoning, so that's kind of a waste of a Hodge stun. Yeah, I don't like these plays. He's being very mana efficient though, but I don't like these plays. So what's happening right now is he's basically giving his mana to his enemy and making them heal through it. But okay, repent. Oh, because he actually chunked him really hard. Maybe I don't know Paladin as well as I do. Okay, so we chunk him, and we did that without reckoning. Interesting, interesting. So we chunk him without reckoning. Yeah, I can kind of understand the repent here. Basically, your next twisted auto is theoretically lethal. So we repent it out, and we seal it up, and he might just explode right here. Okay, healed up a bit. Not really sure what happened there. Maybe they trinketed out of it. No, it's repent, or something broke it, or something. I don't know. Are we wingsing? Is that what's going on here? Okay, we are wingsing. Let me think. Is a seal? What's the mathematical probability of a seal twist being lethal here with wings up? It exists, but it's probably like 10% chance. So that hit right there at a 10% chance to kill. This next one is going to have like a 30% chance to kill if he doesn't heal up. So he's going for a flash heal, but there's a 30% chance he explodes here. Okay, Mir is stunning him. That's good. Unless it procs Reckoning. Okay, so he's back up. So now the priest cannot be killed anymore. He doesn't have any mana, which sucks. We are now running away from the Void Fiend to try to not get mana'd. My priest friend told me that if you run away from the Void Fiends like in a straight line, they only move at like 80% movement speed. So it's one counterplay to a Void Fiend is just run the fuck away from them. Now we have Reckoning back. Okay, we are in business. What do we have to use it with? Hodgedon is back up in a second. We cannot bubble. So this is just what we're doing right now. Okay, cool. There's the first. Ooh, was that Reckoning? 4 seconds on Reckoning. 3, 2, 1, 0. That was Reckoning, I do believe. Yeah, the Reckoning charges is at 3 now at 0 seconds. So that's the power of Reckoning. And that one Reckoning hit does make this next attack potentially lethal. Next Seal Twist is like a 50% chance to be lethal here. They've got some mana. And okay, right here, we're still looking at 50% chance for lethality. Mir has to stun the Paladin, or the Paladin's probably going to blow this guy up. And Schwinky Dink. Okay, cool. How's our mana efficiency doing? Not bad. Let me think about all this. From a mana efficiency perspective, I have no problem whatsoever that when Reckoning procs for you to be seal twisting into the enemy, I have no idea what it looks like when we're seal twisting into the enemy without Reckoning procs. Maybe what's happening from what I can tell is that you're doing so much damage to the enemy that it's like, yeah, the first seal twist doesn't have a chance to kill the target, but it at least has a chance to chunk the enemy so much that they can't heal up fast enough before we hit them with the next seal twist, and that next seal twist has a chance to actually kill them, right? That's kind of what I'm seeing is happening here right now. On top of this, we're backing it up with stuff like Earth Shocks for healing interrupts, Repent, and Hodgedon is near as I can tell what's going on. I don't dislike it, but I'm also aware that the only reason this is even remotely working is because we still have plenty of mana to play with. I'm sitting here wondering if I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Like, I'm recording this entire video and I'm like, man, maybe I'm wrong. Like, I don't know, dude. Blah, 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 blah. But I think one of the reasons why the priest here was so during the course of this fighting Because this is not normal. Normally, it's like I'm gonna mana burn the shit out of this paladin. I'm gonna make sure this paladin has no mana, because if this paladin has no mana, he can't do any of this seal twisting nonsense. And yeah, I think he's like super because he had to spend so much fucking mana. Basically, Mir was giving the Paladin Reckoning over and over and over again. So there were quite a few. I'm making contact with Reckoning hits that are just chunking the priest 6 ways from Sunday mana wise. Okay, so we got boom. Boom. Okay, so. Right, so that opens the door. He has to heal through this, or he's a 50% chance of lethality here. Okay, now it can't be lethal anymore. What is this fucking Death Wish? What is this shit? I don't even know what that is. Fucking weird. Okay. Twisty. Huh. Anyways. Okay. Alright, so where the hell does your lethality come from as a paladin? Well, from what I saw there, basically it's like as long as your mana bar is holding, it's possible for you, and this probably especially with Lust, it's possible, and in conjunction with like Hodgestun and Repent and Earthshock and all that shit, it's probably possible for you to just seal twist, seal twist, seal twist, seal twist, seal twist. The odds of your of any given basically if your enemy has got like 80% or more life, the odds of any of a non-reckoning charge seal twist of actually doing anything is virtually non-existent. Like can't even kill them, but it might do enough damage that it actually knocks them low enough that they can't heal enough of it that your next seal twist can potentially be lethal. That's basically what I'm saying. That is a shit fuck ass ton of mana to do that. However, if it's causing your enemy to before you then it's like blah 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 blah. All right, cool. So let's continue on with this video. This video is probably already over an hour. Jesus Christ, can you fuck off? Like I'm in the middle of some shit here. Jesus. Okay, cool. What else is there to say here? Okay. Let's talk about, let me do some Control Z's here before this pisses me off. Ooh, Control Y, Control Z, Control V, no, Control Z, Control X, yeah. I think it's Control Y. Are you fucking stupid? Like, what the? Ret-Reck in Arena? No, I don't want to save at all. Fuck you. What the fuck is going on? Did I just delete that entire thing? I don't think so. File, open, type in ret, type in open. Thank you. Fuck you. Alright, moving on. Alright, let's talk about what actually kills in the arena. I want this instead. Why do you do this to me? Okay, what actually kills in arena? This is a very interesting concept to wrap your head around. Alright, so number one is DPS is greater than HPS for long enough that the target falls over dead, most regularly achieved with Mortal Strike effects. Okay? That's kind of what we saw in those videos. We were spending a shit ton of mana just happily seal twisting away on a priest over and over again until eventually a combination of RNGesus. Basically, we were waiting for RNG to spike on our seal twists, or I should say that Ret Paladin was. So that he could then back up his seal twisting with his Hodgestuns and his Repents and Bloodlust and his arena partners, what's it called? Earthshock and Purges, yes, Purges too. That DPS could spike noticeably higher than HPS and come through to actually kill the target. Okay? That's probably what was happening there. Number two on this list is a variant of number one. Let me find some... My glasses are dirty. Sorry, my autism is going to force me to clean the glasses while making this video. Holy shit. Number two on here is burst DPS plus CC is greater than HPS for long enough that target dies. That's technically what we saw, more than the other options on the field. But basically, it starts out as number one. which is we're just going to seal twist in this motherfucker until our DPS spikes. And then if our DPS spikes, we'll start backing it up with some burst DPS and CC, and hope that our HPS is greater than our DPS is greater than HPS for long enough that shit falls over dead. Okay, that's exactly what we saw. Perfectly serviceable as we saw, perfectly viable, blah 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 blah. Insanely fucking mana inefficient. Holy Christ! Not entirely sure that's the best way to do it, but that's apparently it works from time to time. Let's continue down the list. Number 3 is enemy team runs out of mana while your team still has about 20 to 30% mana left to play with. Here, a number 1 window opens up where DPS is greater than HPS for long enough that things can fall over dead. Okay? So, in these fights, basically the Resto-Shaman and the Paladin versus like the Druid Rogue or the Priest Rogue basically had 2 options. Option 1, which is what we saw in these clips. So I don't know if these are just the clips where it succeeded, and there's a bunch of times where it actually fell on its fucking face and was looked like the wrong course of action. They were basically the Ret Paladin was burning through their mana like crazy in order to try to get with these 2 right here, hoping the enemy will fall over dead before he runs out of fucking mana. Also hoping he gets Reckoning charges, obviously, right? Blah, 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 blah. The other option that the Ret Paladin could have done is conserve his mana and just lean on the enemy with just basic bitch auto attacks with like rank 1 Seal of Command or Seal of Blood, okay? And in that case, what he would be doing is conserving his mana bar, forcing the enemy team to burn his mana as opposed to giving it to them, where it's very easy for them to heal it up. Like if from a mana efficiency, we already talked about that with the calculators. And then what that Ret Paladin would be trying to do is play for this window right here. That Ret Paladin would basically be sitting on like 80% of a mana bar or some shit like that, assuming he's not getting burned. And basically hoping that the dogs are really pissing me off. Fuck off, guys. I'm making a video. That kill window would basically open up when the enemy priest basically starts running out of mana. The enemy priest basically becomes At that point, if the enemy priest is and the Ret Paladin still has like 50% or 30% of a mana bar left, and the Shaman still has a 30% of a mana bar left, at that point you could literally execute exactly what we saw in this video, and the enemy is basically going to fall over dead, right? So those are your 2 options. You can like do what we saw in these clips and just seal twist in them basically like a maniac and hope for RNG to come through for you. Or you can play the more mana efficiency game and wait for lean on the enemy with your just natural, incredibly efficient a white attack DPS, conserve your mana bar, possibly have Blessing of Wisdom up. Blessing of Might against a clothy target is perfectly fine, but if it's a more heavily armored a healer or target you're leaning into, trying this tactic, you probably want Blessing of Wisdom instead. Yeah, and then just wait for this like second kill window to open up, right? You follow me on this? Versus Druid Rogue, option 3 is probably your best bet here. Basically, you as the Ret Paladin will just stick on the Resto Druid like glue and lean on them with basic bitch DPS, because they can't mana burn you or anything like that, so you might as well just lean on them with what DPS you have, and then you're basically just waiting for the enemy team to get low on mana while your team still has mana, and that's when you can basically just crush them into the fucking dirt. You don't even need Reckoning at that point. Number 4 is that both sides are but one side has a greater DPS and HPS, just enough that they can slowly kill the other. Usually this means one side has better mana regen / DPS output, or some combination of the 2. So these are the 4 ways that people fall over dead in the arena. And subsequently, these are the 4 tactics that you can try to play. You can play the game to try to make manifest so that you can kill people, if that makes any sense. And then, of course, the last question down here is, where the hell does our lethality come from? The answer is math naturally, but it's more complex than that, blah, blah, blah. We talked about this basically at the start of the video, where it's like what we're seeing in those clips is lethality source number one is you just seal twist into the enemy like a maniac, and hope that your RNG spikes so that you can then feed in to your Zug Zug a paladin play, all the CC you have, all the burst DPS you have, and cross your fingers and hopes that RNG comes through to you. Comes through for you and your enemy blows the fuck up. We did see that that was actually working. I mean, we were watching seal twist after seal twist have no chance of killing the target, but what would happen was it would spike high enough that the next seal twist, if not enough healing happens between A and B, actually has a decent chance of killing the target, mathematically speaking, right? Like literally, what was happening in those combats that we just watched was this: no reckoning. We're basically just twisting this into it over and over and over and over and over and over again, and no one of these is going to be lethal to the target. But if one of these high rolls, it could open the window for the next one potentially also high rolling and blowing up the target, and then feeding additional CC, feeding your bubble into it, you know, blah 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 blah, feeding your PvP trinket into it. You could literally see it. It was like, okay, this seal twist doesn't have a chance to do anything, but it opened the door for this next one. Has like a 10% chance to kill. Okay, now this next one has a 20% chance to kill. Okay, they healed back to full, so this seal twist has no chance to kill, but it actually high rolled, so the enemy's at half life, so this next one has like a 50% chance to kill. You get the idea, right? But the whole time that is happening, you're burning through mana, you're burning through mana, you're burning through mana. My suggestion would be, from a mathematical efficiency perspective, is feel free to jump on your enemies and go rawr, like, you know, zug zug, just twist into them like crazy. But set a limiter to your twisting. So it's like, if I'm at 40% mana or 30% mana, I have to stop this zug zug. Like, we've rolled the RNG on the Zug Zug. Our enemies are still alive. You can look at the mana situation. See, from there, you can see if you can play for option number 3. Otherwise, you really should conserve the remainder of your mana for no other reason than be like, okay, I still want to have mana left. Rather than Zug Zugging it into the enemy, I should conserve it in case I get a Reckoning proc and basically go from there. Reckoning procs are way more fucking lethal than any given than if you're just zug-zugging basically into an enemy. So I think I can wrap my head around the idea, despite me being more of a conservative mindseted player, around being okay with expending like 50% of your mana bar or 60% of your mana bar, basically trying to see what we just saw in those videos. But from a win rate perspective, it might actually be better for you to be more mana efficient and just lean on the enemy and basically play for a number 3 kill. This number 3 kill actually becomes far more... what do I want to say here? How do I want to say this? I'm trying to bring team comp into the equation here. Okay. So, the reason... Okay, in the last clip that we watched, like literally if I go right back here, right? That enemy priest still has plenty of fucking mana. Let's go here. Okay, cool. So, this is a 3 kill opener, right? Like this seal twist has a chance to kill right here. Boom. But you can see, even if that seal twist didn't kill, we are very close to a 3 option kill here, because the priest is incredibly low on mana. the Paladin still has plenty of mana to work with, and the Shaman still has plenty of mana to work with, right? So if this Seal Twist didn't kill, if we weren't like, really good on RNG right now, blah, 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 this Priest is likely going to die like 20 to 30 seconds into the future, even if, no matter what, basically, just because we are very rapidly approaching a third kill scenario. The whole reason why this happened was because when the Void Walker came out to regenerate mana for the Priest, the Paladin was smart enough to basically just LOS it and run the fuck away. Right? He basically just he caused the Priest to completely whiff his Void Walker. The other option, of course, would be using your bubble to completely cancel the Void Walker, yada, yada, yada. Okay? So this Priest is giga dead just from a mana efficiency perspective as is. But then there's other scenarios where you could be fighting a rogue that's not giving you a bunch of reckoning charges, and they're paired with like a Resto Druid, and the Resto Druid is getting off like, full innervates and shit like that, and you're just looking at like a super long fucking fight. Under those circumstances, it's probably best for you to conserve your mana bar, just lean on the Druid or the Rogue as best as you possibly can with as much DPS as you possibly can. It's not within 3 minutes or so, I guarantee you, what'll end up happening is your Shaman will be perfectly fine. He's heavily armored. It's really hard for a Rogue to kill him. Your Shaman will have like 30% mana or some shit like that. The enemy Druid will start being and because you still have 30% of a mana bar left on both the Shaman and the Paladin, this magical kill window opens up where you could just basically do whatever the fuck you want and zug people down. Don't even need reckoning charges at that point. Other matchups where that third kill window might be the better play is if you're playing against like Druid Warlock, or if you're playing against like Priest Warlock. What happens in that situation is you're probably best off as a Paladin leaning on the enemy. Like, no Seal Twisting, don't waste your fucking mana. Just lean on them with like a Seal of Blood or a rank 1 Seal of Command. Make them go mana burn you to death. Do your best to purge the Innervate or to cancel the Void Fiend. But the vast majority of your mana will be going to cleansing, specifically your Shaman. Warlocks are terrifying right up until they run out of fucking mana. Once they run out of mana and they start having to life tap, it's like this massive DPS a buff on them that is very difficult to see, if that makes any sense. So theoretically, what it might be better for you to do is you use your 6,000 mana or something, literally judge Wisdom on the Warlock, start wailing on that stupid fucking Warlock. I don't know if we should be killing pets or not, or completely ignoring them, but feel free to judge Wisdom on the Warlock and basically just lean on them with like rank 1 a Seal of Command. Before you judge Wisdom, of course, you want to seal Wisdom, hit them with it. It'll have almost 100% chance to give you mana. It's like 95% chance to give you like 121 mana or some shit like that. Then you judge it into the target, reseal, rank 1 Seal of Command, and basically just start wailing on that Warlock. To purge the Judgment of Wisdom off the target is insanely mana efficient. That's how Ret Paladin, or Paladins in general, beat Shadow Priests in duels, in Classic, and in TBC, is making it insanely mana inefficient for them to keep Judgment of Wisdom off of them. And basically just play the mana game. And what should happen eventually, if you keep spending cleanses on cleansing your Shaman, but you don't cleanse the hots off of you, so that when you get healed by your Shaman, you're regenerating mana, what should happen eventually is the enemy Priest will start running out of mana, and your Shaman will still have mana, and you should just be able to, like, assuming you have any semblance of mana left on your Paladin, you should be able to just, like, fucking zug down that Warlock, or zug down that Priest, like honestly. On top of that, every time you get mana burned, there's a, like, 10% chance it procs Reckoning, right? Which is absolutely disgusting. And of course, if Reckoning procs, you can just like feed it in. You can start spending mana on the Seal Twisting. Okay, cool. So, what the fuck am I trying to the TLDR in this video? the general takeaways are you are a Reckoning Paladin, so trying to seal twist on your enemy over and over and over and over and over again and to try to force RNG to come through for you and actually kill the target may or may not be the best line of play for you, depending upon, blah, 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 blah. I don't mind spending 50% of your mana bar trying to do this early on because it's not like there's not a chance that RNG comes through and you just put your enemy on the back foot, right? It's a waste of mana for you to be at like 80% mana running around waiting for reckoning procs that may or may not come, right? That is a waste of mana. But it's equally bad for you to be running around the arena completely out of mana and then getting reckoning procs and you just can't really do anything with it. Reckoning is night and day more lethal than you basically fishing for good RNGesus on any given Windfury basic bitch auto attack. Then there will be combat scenarios where you're probably just better off leaning on the enemy with a little... Okay, this is a thing I need to make an entire video on. I know this video is already long as hell, but let's at least pull up some calculators and fucking talk about it. Okay, so this is something I'm going to try to explain, but you Ret Paladins aren't going to fucking believe me because you dumbasses are completely fucking addicted to the big numbers and zug-zugging your enemies to death. Okay? You're addicted to the RNG and you're missing the bigger picture here. Okay, so my holy paladin, okay? My holy paladin beats the shit out of resto druids in 1v1 duels and kills them in about 3 minutes. In other words, if I was trapped in the arena with a resto druid as my holy paladin, okay, and both of us started with full life and full mana, so it's like a duel, but we're trapped in the arena, right? I would kill that resto druid. I would him and kill him, even though I cannot purge innovation in about 3 fucking minutes time. Somewhere between 3 to 4 minutes, that druid is just going to fall over fucking dead. And that's even with me wearing like shit tons of plus healing gear. On top of that, I have so much MP5 and crap like that I might not even lose mana while killing that fucking druid. Like, unironically, this is something you're not going to believe me until I'm literally showed that it's fucking possible. Like, this is like you don't know what okay. So I'm going to explain the math behind it, and I want you to realize as a Ret Paladin, you can do the same thing. Okay? All right? Okay, let's do this really fast. So, my Seal of Vengeance, basically you judge justice on the druid and you just keep thunking them with Seal of Vengeance. You make sure you're using the slower one-handed weapons so that Seal of Vengeance mathematically can just never fall off of them. And you basically just judge it on cooldown into them. And you do this over and over and over again and basically until they fall over dead. Now, the amount of DPS I'm about to put up on here is going to be dog ass, and you're going to laugh at it as a Ret Paladin, but I want you to look at the math behind this, okay? So, my Seal of Vengeance ticks for maybe like 250-ish in my current gear. And it's doing that, like, every, like, 3 seconds. So that's, like, 83 some or so odd DPS. There's a little bit of, like, extra, like, mini damage, which is, like, 50 damage that can crit sometimes. And that's happening every, like, every 3 seconds on average. So it gets, like, an extra, like, 16. And at that point, I just add those two numbers together, and it's, like, 100 DPS. So while I'm thunking away with Seal of Vengeance and judging it on cooldown, the tick and the thunk are doing 100 holy damage to the target. My melee attacks, because they're usually in bear form, are doing, I don't know, maybe like, let me think. They're probably doing something like 100 damage every like 2.8 seconds or something like that. That's a square root. Oh my god. 100 divided by like 2.8 or some shit, right? But I can also miss, so it's like blah, 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 blah. So I'm going to add 35 DPS to this. Yeah, the number's laughable. Let's just watch. Just fucking watch. Okay? The judgment damage on average is about 1,000. My Holy Paladin does not have improved seal of doesn't have judgment, so we're judging on 10 seconds rather than 8 seconds. So I have to divide this basically by 8. But my bad. I have to divide that by 10, which should be like 100. So I'm going to add like 100 over here. Okay. So in my experience beating on these druids, once I factor in like this and that and critical strike rating and yada yada yada, my DPS that I'm actually leading on them, the actual HP loss per second on these druids is about 250. Now that can go higher when I like hodge stun them, right? I can hodge stun them and then put a consecration down, and if they're really low life, we'll start putting hammers of wrath into them and shit like that, and this number can spike dramatically. But we're basically just chasing them around the arena, smacking them with like 250 HP damage per second, and they have to heal it. Like they don't really have a fucking choice. And their healing efficiency, because I can't purge anything, right, is somewhere in the vicinity of like 6 to 1. Maybe we'll be generous and we'll say like 7 to 1 mana efficiency ratio. But okay, we'll divide it by 7. Yeah, we'll be super generous. It's not 7, and I fucking know it. Let's say it's 6. It's 6. Let's just say it's 6. Yeah. Let's be generous, because they have more MP5. That's kind of their gig, not their mana efficiency and innervate and shit like that. Okay, so now the question is like how much mana do they need per second in order to heal this? And what this is showing is that they're going to need like almost 42 mana a second to heal through this shit. And if I multiply that by 5, that's going to tell us how much MP5 they need to counter how much DPS I'm leaning on them with, like consistently, basically. And the answer is they need about 210 MP5. I'm going to tell you right now that druids have closer to like 100 MP5. So by the time you factor in this and that and their fucking spirit regeneration and yada yada yada, they're sitting at like 100 MP5. Okay. So the entire time I'm leaning on these fucking druids, they're basically at a negative 110 MP5. Okay? And remember when I said they're going to fall over in like about the 4-minute mark, somewhere around there? So let's go 60 times 4 equals divided by 5 equals... fuck, I remember it was like 42 mana a second deficit, and then we multiplied that by like 5. It was 210. So it's 110, you dipshit. Let me get that per second. 110 divided by 5 equals... Okay, so they're losing 22 mana a second. And... Right. What happens after the 4-minute mark? 22 mana a second. 60 times 4 equals times 22 equals... So they have lost 5,280 mana at the 4-minute mark. And that's without any hodge stunning, without any consecrating. What else is that missing DPS wise? I could do the juggle, which is incredibly mana inefficient, where you basically hit them once and it refreshes the vengeance, and then you judge the vengeance, and then you seal righteousness for 2 auto attacks, and then you seal back the vengeance, thunk them once so it re-ups the vengeance, judge it again, rinse, repeat. That's the mana inefficient way of doing it, and that will increase your DPS by like, I want to say like 80 or something like that. No, not 80. It's closer to like 60 additional DPS. The other one that I can do, honestly, the Hodge Stone and the Consecration is fucking terrifying. The other one I can do to increase DPS is having the Faster Judgment. That increases DPS by like 25. Blah, 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 blah. Druids, okay. Druids are going to have something like 13,000 mana bar. So their mana bar is usually sitting at around 9,000 when they're fully built out. They can innervate that for an additional like 80%, something like that. And then they just naturally have MP5 rolling while they're doing stuff. But they burn a lot of mana, like, shape-shifting out of form. Because when you're beating on them, they want to be in bear form, because if they're not in bear form, you can always swap to a two-handed weapon and get a lot of melee DPS on them. So, but they have to come out of bear form and spend some mana in order to put hots on themselves and then go back into bear form. It's a bit mana expensive. And the whole time they're just slowly but surely running out of mana, basically until they fucking fall over dead. Their MP5 over the course of 5 minutes, like what the hell is this? If I say they have 100 MP5, well, we already factored that into the DPS, so that's actually not really a factor anymore. Huh, interesting. Yeah. So this is saying that this theoretical druid will die within, like, 10 minutes or some shit like that with how much DPS we're leaning on them with. My point is that your Ret Paladin and fucking Shaman can lean on these motherfuckers, these priests, these druids, due to Purge, and with a hell of a lot more effective DPS than 250. Right, you probably as a Ret Paladin just auto attacking them and possibly judging damage into them, like Seal of Vengeance 5 stacks or some shit like that. Or maybe even Judgment of Blood is really good. Not very mana expensive for you whatsoever, and you can probably lean on them closer with like 400 DPS. If you're leaning on a druid with 400 DPS and they can't really stop it, and they're basically forced to you're purging off their hots and shit, they're gonna so fucking fast, even without you doing any seal twisting whatsoever, that you're gonna have so much fucking mana left over. You're gonna hit this third kill option super quickly, and it's going to be incredibly deadly on them, is the point I'm trying to make. But this is a seeing to believe type deal. So I'll actually make a video where I'm showing my Holy Paladin beating a Resto Paladin. I mean, my bad, a Resto Druid, and you'll be like, what the fuck? That shouldn't be possible. They'll just out heal your shit. You can't purge anything. Blah, 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 blah. Now, they're going to be dead within about 4 minutes. And they're just going to fucking fall over dead, like, unironically. Hodge stun plus consecration spikes the DPS rather dramatically. I can calculate that here really quick. What is this? So every 35 seconds, I stun the target for 6 seconds. And so we're doing that every 29 seconds. And then consecration is going to add something stupid, like an additional like 150 DPS for something like 6 or 7 ticks, somewhere around there. We'll say 7 ticks. So I'm doing an extra 1,000 damage over 29 seconds. Jesus, maybe it's not that much. Okay, an additional 36 DPS from consecration, judgment, all that stuff. So what this is telling me is that I really need to juggle. I really need that additional. The juggling DPS would be. I guess I have so much MP5 that if I'm not doing the juggling trick on the druid, I'm being really bad about it. Seal of Justice probably thunks for like I think it's like 240. Okay, we'll say Seal of Justice tickles for 240. We're gonna get 2 of those every like 9 seconds, I want to say, something like that. So that's additional 53 DPS. So rather than doing like 250 DPS, I would add like another 50 from the juggle, and then add like another 30 or so from the consecration. And yeah, so very quickly, yikes. What is that? Do we divide that by 6? I think. That'll tell us how much mana they need to spend to heal it per second. Okay. Then I multiply that by 5, and that tells us their MP5 situation. And then I subtract 100 from that, because that is their MP5. So they're at a negative 175 MP5 for the whole duration of this combat, theoretically, if I was playing perfectly. I need to divide this by 5 to get the actual number again. So they're at a minus 35 mana per second. And if I recall correctly, let's do a 5-minute check. Do they fall over in 5 minutes? So 5 minutes is 300 seconds. So 300 seconds of minus 35 times 35. What's their mana situation look like? Jesus Christ. So they've lost over 10,000 mana over the course of they're minus 10,000 mana over the course of a 5-minute fight. Huh. That is terrifying. The amount of, like, I've got like so much fucking mana efficiency. I've got like 130 MP5 on that fucking paladin. I'm not gonna run out of mana anytime soon. Anyways, I'll just have to do a seeing is believing type deal. So anyways, I'm sitting over here as a Ret Paladin, or as a Paladin Theory Crafter doing the math, and I'm like, okay, what are if this is me in the arena, if all I'm doing is seal twisting white attacks, hoping for Fury procs, um, is this mana efficient? Can I actually kill anything with this? You know, blah 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 blah. From what I can tell, there's a chance that you just seal twisting damage into the priest or whatever target, completely zug does have a win rate behind it. That win rate might be 40%, it might be 30%. It probably changes with whatever you're zug-zugging into, what the enemy comp is, blah, 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 blah. Might even change win rate wise with what the arena is. The win rate appears to be high enough that it's actually worth spending like 50%, 60% of your mana bar, zug-zugging into the target, just to see if you can get if you can turn a number 1 into a number 2 kill, right? But once that has failed and your paladin is at like 50% or 40% mana, you really should start turning your brain on and trying to play for a number 3 kill. And the way you would do that is you basically just play the super mana efficient version of your paladin, which is I'm going to judge justice on this thing, or I'm going to judge wisdom on this thing, and I'm literally just going to lean on it with a basic bitch auto attack, seal of blood, seal of command, no seal twisting, just be incredibly mana efficient, and let your DPS do the talking. That was the whole reason why I was trying to show you like my pathetic holy DPS leaning on a druid for any extent of time. A fucking resto druid is going to eventually cause the resto druid to fall over fucking dead. It's because the DPS flowing out of my paladin into them is outpacing their MP5. Therefore, it's only a matter of fucking time before they and fall over dead. The exact same thing can be achieved with your Ret Paladin, just leaning on motherfuckers with basically with basic bitch auto attacks. The other advantage to this is that you have plenty of mana left over on your Ret Paladin to play this longer game by helping out your Resto-Shaman, right? You got plenty of mana for freedoms and this and that and blah, 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 blah. While you're leaning on the enemy, Judgment of Wisdom, my bad, Seal, bleh. Blessing of Wisdom is probably your better bet than Justice, but it wouldn't surprise me if that, my bad, Might. Blessing of Wisdom is better than Might if you're going for this play, but I think it depends on how much armor your target has. If your target is a Druid, or your target is a Resto-Shaman or a Holy Paladin, something that is very heavily armored, or has a lot of mitigation. We didn't even get into how mitigation like absolutely screws over the DPS output of this seal twisting without reckoning. If your enemy has any kind of mitigation behind them, like 15-20% chance to to dodge or parry, like dear God, the zug is just terrible into them. Like literally don't do it. But you know, enemy healers and clothies, especially while they're hard casting heals, have none of that. So zug away. But if it's like a priest who's a clothy target, or you're beating on a warlock who is also a clothy target, even though they got like a 30% fucking transfer and their pets can spell, steal, and heal, and yada yada yada. In that case, might be the better option, but as a general rule, you can't go wrong with wisdom. Put Blessing of Sacrifice on your shaman. He'll be basically fine. If he needs cleansing or freedom, you'll have plenty of mana for that. Basically, just play a longer game and play for this third win condition, okay? You want to avoid trying to win your fights in a 4-win condition, okay? This is bad. You don't want to be in a number 4. Can Resto Ret win under a 4 condition where everyone's fucking Yeah, they can, but why? Our better win condition is a number 3. So, from what I'm seeing, feel free to zug away, but set a limit for your zug, where it's like, we've looked at the RNG on the zug. I've spent 50% of my mana bar zug-zugging. Let me re-examine the tactical situation. Do I need to go mana efficient paladin mode and play for a 3 kill, like a minute or 2 from now? Or can am I getting good enough RNG and I'm doing enough pressure that I can just keep zug-zugging and possibly kill this motherfucker? At 30% mana on your paladin, yeah, don't. Yeah, you definitely need to go for like a number 3 kill, but you should be re-examining. All right, well, this video is long as hell. Hopefully you find some shit useful here, but this is just where my brain is at on the subject, both concerning tactics and the mathematical side of things. Right. So without reckoning, this is literally all that you're doing. Can I control Z all this away? Without reckoning, this is your Zug Zug right here. Like this is just your Zug Zug. You're basically rolling. You're rolling a dice on this chart, and one of these 20 things is going to happen. And then if Windfury procs, another dice gets rolled on the exact same chart with one of these 20 fucking things happening. The odds of Windfury procking is like a 1 in 4 twist, somewhere around there. Your white attack can proc Windfury. Your command can proc Windfury. Windfury can proc command, but you know you can only get one Windfury proc basically. Basically, a white attack can only proc one seal of command at most. Any additional white attack can proc seal of command. Seal of command cannot proc seal of command, but seal of command can proc Windfury. Windfury has an ICD internal cooldown to it, so that you can't proc anything additional, right? You can only get one Windfury proc every and it goes immediately into like a 0.2 second CD where no other Windfury procs are possible. So the most you can ever do as a paladin is your white hits and it procs command, and then Reckoning also hits and it procs command. And then one of those white hits or commands, one of those like 2 white hits, one of those 2 commands procs a single Windfury, and that Windfury white attack can also procs command. Like that's the most anything can ever do as far as procs are concerned. But without Reckoning, 25% chance Windfury procs, because remember when we looked over here where it was like every seal twisted auto attack, basically there's a 50% chance you get no command. Well, what am I trying to say here? I can actually pull up a calculator and do it really quick. Let me double check my math here really fast. So if I do 100 auto attacks, 0.4 of them, 40% of them theoretically against a non-mitigation targeting would proc Windfury. My bad. Would proc Seal of Command. Okay, so only 60 out of 100 would not proc Seal of Command, but they could still proc Windfury theoretically, right? 20% chance per each. So I have to multiply this by 0.8, and that gives us the number out of 100, which is 48. 48 out of 100 white attacks will fail to proc Seal of Blood or Seal of Command. And then of the 40 that proc Seal of Command, there's 20% chance to proc Windfury Totem, I do believe. The white attack has a 20% chance to proc Windfury. The command has a 20% chance to proc Windfury. So we're taking those 40 and we're multiplying it by 0.8 again, and look at that, we get 32. So there is a 48% chance you hit like a girl. Okay? You don't get command, you don't get Windfury. Then there's a 32% chance on top of that you got command to proc, but you didn't get the Windfury totem to proc. And if I add 48 to this, we can actually tell what the math is behind this Zug Zug. Only 20% chance? Jesus Christ, I thought it was 25. There is a 20% chance that, I'm saying 25 this whole time, I guess it's only 20. Why is that? Why would that be? Why would that be? Why would that be? 20 out of 100. Could proc, don't proc, do proc. That doesn't make any sense. Why is it 20? Am I doing my math wrong? Fuck off. 48 plus 32. Should be like 80? Fuck, man. Why? Why is it 20%? Okay, well, command has a 20% chance to proc. It should be higher due to the white. Is my math off? What the fuck? I don't understand. Maybe there's a lot of double dipping. Is that what the fuck is happening? Huh. Anyways, That's really weird. Oh, maybe that's what I'm mathing out right now here. Okay, okay. So, no, what? 20% chance. All right, anyways, this 20 remaining hits, right? So we have a 20 out of 100 here, remaining hits. I don't know, maybe you guys can tell me where the fuck my math went wrong on this. So what we're looking at right now is a 20 out of 100 that is not, that is Windfuried. And some of these 20 are going to be white attacks that Windfuried. And some of these 20s are going to be white attacks with command that also Windfuried. Okay? How do I calculate that? Well, if I recall correctly, we had 12 attacks here that didn't proc command, but theoretically would have procced Windfury. Because I remember that. Yeah. So we were like, okay, out of 100 attacks, 40% will proc command, which means 60 of them will not proc command, and then we basically took 20% away from those, because 20% of those, even though they didn't proc command, would also would proc Windfury. Right. So 12 of these fucking things belong up here. Jesus fucking Christ. All right, so 12 out of 100 are up here of this 20, and then 18 out of 8 out of 100 are down here. All right, cool. Pfft, Jesus. Weird. All right, take a drink of water here. For the life of me, what I can't figure out mathematically here that's really pissing me off is it's like every one of your auto attacks had a 20% chance to proc command, and I'm still only looking, my bad, Windfury, and I'm still only looking at a 20% chance to proc Windfury despite my best efforts to do math on Seal of Command and white damage. It should be 25%. Like, all these command procs should increase, should they not? I'm very curious what you think. Shouldn't all these command procs here that have a 32% chance of happening, well, closer to a 40% chance of happening. Ooh, maybe that's how I have to think about it. Okay. All these command procs here should increase the likelihood of Windfury procking more than 20% of the time, which is why I'm pulling 25% out of my ass. But I can't figure out what I'm doing mathematically wrong in order to calculate that, which is very interesting. Anyways. Zug, incredibly mana inefficient. But it's definitely has a possibility of winning, so it's kind of worth doing into a variety of targets. I have to think about that. But you might be better off playing the mana game, the mana game as well. All right, let's go back to gearing really fast. This is kind of why I'm saying that maybe as a Ret Paladin, the figurine of the Thalassite Owl might be your better DPS figurine. I'm not entirely sure what DPS figurine a Ret Paladin really likes to use. Would they prefer a whatchamacallits? A Dragon Spine Trophy? Would they prefer a burst on activation a trinket of some kind? This thing is kind of nuts. Why? Why is this thing nuts? Well, mathematically, not only is it giving you like 14 MP5, so you're always going to have more mana than you otherwise should have as a Ret Paladin. It's almost impossible for you to completely and still not have some mana to work with, which is really, really bad for you as a Ret Paladin. But it also is going to give you like a bunch of extra mana on cooldown. So what you could do is run out of mana completely, bait the enemy team into feeling safe to attack whatever the hell they want. They start attacking you because they're like, haha, you have no mana, even if Reckoning procs, you can't do anything. And then suddenly you're like, hey, check this out. I do have extra mana. Thank you for the Reckoning proc. I'm going to blow you the fuck up now. This is also particularly useful when you're fighting like Druid Warlock or Priest Warlock, for example, because those are comps that are going to you like a motherfucker, and then basically have an incredible amount of disrespect at that point for Reckoning procking on you, because you don't have any mana to make good use of it and Seal Twist. But if you have the figurine of the Owl, then it's just like, hey, check this out. You gave me Reckoning. I have plenty of mana. Watch me blow you the fuck up now. The Reckoning proc is way, way, way more lethal than basically just zug-zugging into the enemy and crossing your fingers on RNGesus. Fuck, what am I trying to say here? Right, that's actually, sorry, my autism is causing me to get really pissed off at the math over here. The math over here is really bothering me. I'm like, what? What? It should be like 25% chance to proc. I'm so very confused. Maybe this is off. All right, let's check my math on the 32. Maybe my 32 is off. Derpadow. Yeah, maybe my 32 math is off here. 48 math, we checked that. That checked out okay. Basically, the 48 math is for this block right here. 48 out of 100 attacks, we're going to do nothing. We're not going to proc command. We're not going to get a Windfury totem. We're just going to white hit a motherfucker with a Seal of Blood. But the question becomes, what about the other ones? All right, so out of 100 attacks, what? 40% of them should proc command, and out of the remaining 60, 20% of that should cause fuck Windfury totem. Okay, so let's find this. I don't care anymore. 12 out of 100 are Windfurying, even without command. Okay, cool. Let's go back to the command one. So there were 40 attacks. I need 20% of this. Oh, no. These are command procs. So it's not 40%. It's going to be like 35% because they can double dip. So I need 30% of 40. Or 35% of 40. Fuck you, give me the 40. 35? Okay, 14. That sounds about right. Okay, so there's that. And then another 14 out of 100 should proc blah. Okay. So I need... Okay, that might be where my math is off. My math might be off in this 32 number right here. Okay, so I need 40 minus 14. 40 minus 14. 26. Okay, cool. Got it. All right, sweet. Let's adjust this then. What was that? 26. Okay, so this is actually 26 out of 100. Out of 100. And then the Windfury is actually another 26 out of 100? What the fuck? That's some interesting math that we got going on there. All right, cool. Let's delete this. Let's delete this. This. Okay, cool. 26 out of 100. Bada bing. And then another 26 out of 100. Bada bing. Okay. Oh, and I can break that down even further, can't I? It was 12 from there, if I recall correctly. Right. So it's 12 out of 100. And then I gotta, like, type some shit. Give me a sec here. Because I need to reference this later, maybe. Equals. White plus blood plus white plus no, we should just say Windfury. Windfury. Okay, so that's what's happening there. And then the other one would be 14. Let's do this one in blue. 14 out of 100. There we go. Now we're talking. 14 out of 100. Black equals white blood. No. This would be white plus blood. Blood plus command plus blood. This is going to be a long one. Yarg. Yargy. White plus blood plus command plus blood plus Windfury. Okay, cool. That's what's happening there. All right. Cool. Now we got some math here. All right. So let's double check, make sure that that it does add up to 100. 48 plus 12 equals plus 14 equals plus 26 equals. Yep, 100. Okay, cool. All right, I think we figured out the math. Thank God. Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, so it looks like every Zug Zug Seal Twist you're doing in the enemy has a 48% chance that it doesn't do fuck all. Then it has a 26% chance that it does decent damage with Seal of Command, but it still hasn't procced Windfury. Then there is a 12% chance that you get a white attack that doesn't proc Seal of Command, but it still procs Windfury. And that's pretty good because that's an entirely new role on this chart over here, right? Every Windfury is another role on this chart. Then we've got the 14% chance that you basically get everything. Your white hit did proc command, and the command or the white hit did proc Windfury, and that's where it's going to really hurt. Odds are only these two right here are really going to hurt your enemy. But even the basic ones that don't proc Windfury have a chance to get pretty lucky on their RNG. Like, it's not impossible. We haven't even factored in mitigation into this formula yet. Druids, usually you want to attack a target even if it's heavily armored that doesn't have a lot of mitigation. So if you're like swinging into a rogue that's facing you, yeah, that motherfucker's got like a 30% chance to, like, dodge or parry. Like, this is a terrible idea. Warriors also have a lot of mitigation. Paladins have a lot of mitigation for a healer. If the healer is actively healing, they have no mitigation, so feel free to, like, swing into them. Right, mitigation is really, really bad for your DPS. Interesting. Okay, so this is, let me think. Yeah, so maybe it's closer to like a 28% chance that something good can happen per Seal Twist on Zug Zug. Because we got 12% here, and that's probably going to end up pretty good in RNG because you get an entirely another roll on this table. And this one is definitely going to be good on RNG because not only you've already rolled well on current table, and the Windfury is going to give you another roll on the next table. I could actually do the math on it, right? I could be like, what are the odds that our new table roll actually does well here? Blah blah blah. But then you have a 26% of a 26% chance could also roll pretty well. But really, it's probably, oh God, I really want to go down that math rabbit hole. Oh my Jesus, fuck. All right, let's just do it. I mean, we're already in it. This video is already long as hell. We're over the 2-hour mark. Let's just fucking complete it. All right, whatever. Power of autism compels you. Okay, so, I'm going to add a little bit due to this potentially doing good. But it looks like there's a 26% chance that we get an entirely new table roll. And when you do get a new table roll, what are the odds that that table roll does good, right? All right, let's think about it here. Well, first off, there's a 48% chance that the table roll does bad. So there's a 50% chance table roll do bad. All right, let's look at the math then. All right, so 26% chance that first table is good. And then there's a 50% chance that the new table sucks. And chance of good plus known suck means there's a 13% chance per Seal Twist. Possibly we should say 14 because your bad ones can actually still do pretty good. So we'll say there's a 14 to 15% chance. I'll just be generous. We'll say 15. So what this is telling me is that there's between a 14 and a 15% chance that a Seal Twist without Reckoning can actually hit really, really fucking hard. Will that kill a motherfucker? No. But it can do enough damage that your next Seal Twist has like, you know, a 20% or another 15% chance to blow them the fuck up. Moral of the story here is that, as you can see, it's going to take you a lot of Zug Zug Seal twists into the enemy for RNG to actually come through for you. But somewhere around like your 20th Seal twist or some shit, two of these might actually pair together and actually start threatening lethal on your enemy. Oh god, okay, whew. Finally figured out the math in this fucking thing. Oh my god, that was pissing me off. That was pissing me off. I was worried I had to like go through each of these fucking things individually and figure out like what percent chance each of these had. And then I started thinking about it in terms of like tables, and I was like, okay, this is a little bit better to manage. Like, thank Christ. Um. Anyways, moral of the story is that Reckoning looks so much fucking more deadly than your Zug Zug Seal twists, because your Reckoning Seal twist is virtually guaranteed to proc Windfury. Like, it's not even a question. Like your seal of your Reckoning Seal twist has like an 80% chance to proc a seal of command, at least one seal of command, right? And it's already procking 2 white hits. So very quickly, it's like the Windfury proc times 3. There's an 80% chance that 60% of the time your Seal Twisted Reckoning hit will proc Windfury. And when it procs Windfury, the math on it not being lethal is like insanely difficult. So I suppose I would need to take 80% of 60, and that would tell me how often your Reckoning Seal Twist is likely to either be lethal or to knock the enemy so fucking low on HP that your next Reckoning Seal Twist is virtually guaranteed to be lethal. So I'd multiply this by like 0.8 because that's how likely the Windfury is to actually proc. Is that how that works? Yeah, so I'm saying that 80% of the time, there's a 60% chance to proc Windfury. Right? Yes. Well, what about not 80% of the time? What about the other 20%? That still has a chance to proc Windfury, right? Fuck. Yeah, I guess it does have a 40% chance to proc Windfury. Like, at this point, I have to calculate what are the odds that a Reckoning proc doesn't proc Windfury would be the better course of action. Okay, well, 20% of the time, there's only a 40% chance to proc Windfury. Okay, so 80% of the time, there's a 60% chance to proc Windfury. So I guess I take 0.6 of 80, and I write that down. So 48. All right, let's go write that down. All right, so I guess it's 48 and then plus, and then it would be like there's a 20% chance. No, 20% of those 100 attacks would proc Windfury 40% of the time. Okay, so I have to add 8 to this. Okay, cool. And that should be like 56, right? Okay, cool. All right, so every Windfury... every Reckoning Seal Twist that you put into a target, assuming they have little to no mitigation, right? Little to no dodge, little to no parry, there's a 56% chance they either explode or go from 100% life to like 20% life. And then your next Seal Twist is likely to blow them the fuck up. And I'm talking like, 90% chance they explode. They would need to like Nature Swiftness, and the Nature Swiftness would need to crit, heal, and even then they might blow the fuck up. So it's looking like, what did we decide here? Right. So without Reckoning, there was a 13% chance that you did good. Like, you didn't even blow a motherfucker up without Reckoning. Right. We decided there was like a 15% chance. So there's a 15% chance that your non-Reckoning Seal Twist hurts the motherfucker enough that your next non-Reckoning Seal Twist has a chance to kill them. And as we saw from the actual footage, it ended up being like a 30% chance here and a 20% chance there as we were zug-zugging into them that they could start blowing up. Whereas the Reckoning one is like 56% chance that they either blew the fuck up, or they're so low life that your next Seal Twist is like a 90% chance to just fucking explode them. So, Jesus fucking Christ, if you find yourself in the arena as a Ret Paladin and you get a Reckoning proc and you could use it, but you can't use it because you're out of mana, you like your odds of having a one from that Reckoning charge are so incredibly high that just don't let yourself run out of mana. If you take away anything from this video as a Ret Paladin in the arena, I think the takeaway is don't run out of mana, don't run out of mana, don't let yourself run out of mana. Now, the real question in all this is what trinkets are actually going to help you be a more lethal Ret Paladin? The DPS trinkets while you're zug-zugging will help, right? Obviously. But an MP5 or a mana trinket like the owl figurine would help you with those mana kill windows. So anyways, I'm going to end the video here. As you can see, I'm kind of blathering away. I had a lot to talk about and a lot to get through. What do I think is going to survive contact with the enemy in this video over time? I think this observation here is a really good one for us paladins of all kinds to make. So, for example, my holy paladin is going to look for this type of kill. Like this holy paladin that I'm showing right here. This thing has, where's MP5? Yeah, with seal, with Blessing of Wisdom, this thing has like, what is that? Like almost 120 MP5, I do believe, like 120, 125 MP5, somewhere around there. This thing has so much goddamn MP5, and when you factor in the value of this stupid owl figurine here, this owl figurine has really good MP5 and mana efficiency if it's used within like the first, if the fight only lasts like 3 minutes, then its efficiency goes to shit. Right up until it hits the 5-minute mark, and at the 5-minute mark, this thing's value comes back roaring again. But if I get to use 2 of these in an arena over the course of like the 5-minute or time duration or some shit like this, this trinket might as well say some shit like plus 172 intellect on this paladin. Multiply that by 15. This trinket's basically giving me 2,600 more mana to play with than I otherwise would have as a paladin. And what this means is this doesn't help me heal at all, right? There's no plus healing on this thing. It doesn't help me heal. It doesn't help me offensively. It doesn't help me from a survivability perspective. The only fucking thing this trinket does for me as a healing paladin is number 3 here. There is an incredibly likely chance when I'm in the arena healing that I will end up having mana left over. My ally will end up having mana left over because I can judge wisdom on our kill targets, and I can put a Blessing of Wisdom on him. That our enemies, for whatever reason, are out of mana, and we still have plenty of mana to work with, and they're just going to fall over dead. Because we've effectively found a kill window using a thicker, healthier mana bar, while our enemies do not have a thick, healthy mana bar. I think that is going to survive contact with the enemy quite well. The real question is, for Ret Paladin, is like, is that a kill window worth playing for? And in what matchups is that a kill window worth playing for? Like, will you have higher win rates playing for this kill window rather than the Zug Zug? And your go-to should be Zug Zug into play for this we have mana, they don't kill window. Fuck, what else is there? One more thing, I forget. Oh, and then the question becomes, is that play window viable enough under a lot of matchups for the Ret Paladin Resto-Shaman that a trinket-like figurine of the Thalassite Owl suddenly becomes one of your best DPS trinkets. Again, this trinket is doing nothing for your Zug Zug, right? This trinket is dog-ass fuck-all for your Zug Zug. At best, you could argue that this thing makes you able to Zug Zug for longer. But if you're zug-zugging for longer, you're really just kind of hoping that your zug-zug does enough damage that it turns into we have mana when our enemies are and they fall over dead, right? I don't know. This might be one of the best DPS trinkets for a Ret Paladin, like unironically. But it's only because it's only if you understand what your kill windows actually look like as a Ret Paladin, which was the whole purpose of this video. Maybe I did a good job explaining it. Maybe I didn't. Right, so your kill windows are Zug Zug and RNGesus. Any Reckoning procs with mana are an insane kill window for you. Holy Christ. And then your third and final kill window basically is, or not third and final, but your third best kill window, and possibly your best kill window, period, is just, hey, we still have mana and they don't. So I'm just going to Zug Zug on these motherfuckers until they fall over dead. I got enough mana to Zug Zug. I don't even need Reckoning because they don't have mana, and we just fucking murder them. And then your fourth kill window, which is something you want to stay the fuck away from as a general rule, is you find yourself as fuck in the arena as a Ret Paladin, and you're basically, the enemy is now allowed to have Reckoning charges on you because you don't have any mana to use. That's really, really bad. That is really, really bad. The last thing to talk about, since this video is already insanely long, is what are the enemy comp's possible kill windows on a Resto-Shaman Paladin team, okay? I like to bury this conversation in very, very long videos because I don't like to explain to our enemies our weaknesses, right? And so I find them best to talk about at the end of these extremely long videos. Okay. The only real weakness that the Resto-Shaman Ret Paladin team really truly has, it takes place when the Ret Shaman runs out of mana. When the Ret Shaman runs out of mana, and the Ret Shaman, and here's the kicker, and the Ret Shaman is either dumb enough to use his Hodge Stun like willy-nilly, or the enemy has their PvP trinket back up, which is the more non-mitigatable scenario. That is really dangerous for you and the Resto-Shaman, especially if the Resto-Shaman is low mana. Let me see if I can give you a visual of this. Back to the duels. Fuck, where's Mosquito? Mosquito, where'd you go? Is this Mosquito? No. Rip Bozo? Aw. Can I push this button and it's not gonna be bad? No? Fuck, man. Okay, I need the Mosquito video to actually show this. Let me pause the video really fast here. Alright, cool. Let's look at this really quick and then we'll end the video. So here's kind of an interesting example. So this fight with like Druid Rogue versus Resto-Shaman, my wife just got home. So dogs are going crazy. Goes on for so fucking long that the Paladin is basically repeatedly out of mana, up in mana, out of mana, up in mana, out of mana. Ooh, okay, they might be doing it correctly here. So they turn on the Paladin, but Mosquito still has plenty of mana. That's the bad part of this. So, how can you die in the arena as Resto-Shaman, as a couple of Live Lords, right? Well, if the Ret Paladin is out of mana, he suddenly becomes a viable kill target. And the reason for this is because, like, for example, like right now is not a very good one. You really want them, I had it perfectly there for a second. You want it, like, yeah, like right here is a really good time. Okay, so if I press play, yeah, it's muted. Okay, we're about to see the Rogue opening up on the Resto-Shaman. This is incorrect. The Rogue should be opening up on the Paladin right now. And the reason for this is because without Hodge Stun, like if the Rogue can just trinket away Hodge Stun, or Hodge Stun can be dispelled or whatever the hell, and the Rogue has evasion and possibly prep for another evasion, he can give that Paladin as much fucking Reckoning charges as he possibly wants, and no amount of seal twisting with reckoning charges into that fucking evasioning rogue is going to do fuck all to kill that rogue. Our seal twisting DPS despises mitigation. If your enemy has like 30% mitigation and you have reckoning charges and you're seal twisting into them, you're going to feel like you don't have reckoning, basically. So if they pop evasion and they're sitting up there at like, 80% ish mitigation, it doesn't even matter if your Ret Paladin has like a full fucking mana bar and you're just, every auto attack the rogue is doing is proccing reckoning. You're not going to be able to, you're not going to be lethal to that rogue any time in a million years. You will chunk him from time to time, but math wise, he's going to be very easily repped up, which means this rogue would have somewhere like 30 or 40 fucking seconds, maybe even longer, to just deep dick the paladin with DPS. If he gets Hodge stunned, he can trinket it, or it can be dispelled. If what's the other one? Hodge stun, trinket. Right. So right. And also, this go can usually happen if this is my advice to you, right? If you're super low mana as a paladin and your shaman is also low mana, be very, very conscious not to use your Hodge stun willy-nilly. Because if this Hodge stun, let's say this rogue was on top of the paladin rather than the shaman right now, okay, theoretically, all right? And let's also say this rogue has PvP trinket. Yeah, he does have PvP trinket. Okay, cool. How long is it going to take for this paladin to be even remotely lethal to this rogue, right? Like, how long is this rogue going to have to deep dick this paladin? The answer is it's going to be 20 seconds before the paladin has his fucking Hodge stun. Paladin does have bubble to work with, so that's really good. But it's going to be like 21 seconds before he has his Hodge stun to work with. Repent plus Reckoning can be a little scary. Okay, so that's another tool in their toolkit. Okay, Repent. Let me think. Right, but this is with a druid who can't dispel. It might look different with a priest. It might look different with a paladin, right? Anyways, let's say Repent doesn't exist for the sake of this argument. Yeah, so it's going to be like 21 seconds before Hodge stun is available. And then when Hodge stun is available, it could be resisted. And if it's not resisted, it can be dispelled or PvP trinketed. Then it's going to be like another 35 seconds before you get another Hodge stun. And the rogue's going to have like, 30-ish seconds of evasion. Plus when evasion stops, he's going to start stunning the shit out of you, blah, blah. So we're looking at like 40 seconds. I'm willing to bet you this rogue could easily chain together something like 40 fucking seconds of deep dick on this paladin, where it doesn't even fucking matter if he's proccing Reckoning and this paladin has an ocean of mana because he's taking so much damage and being healed by the shaman. He's not going to die. And this is how you fall over dead as a Ret Paladin in the arena. If you're eventually, enemy teams are going to wise up to this shit, right? The primary weakness that this enemy comp is not exploiting against Mosquito here and his team is the shaman's mana bar. They're trying to attack the shaman and let wound poison do its job so that the shaman eventually runs out of mana and falls over dead. The problem with touching the shaman is shamans are very inefficient healers. From a mana efficiency ratio, they're very inefficient healers in TBC, right up until you keep punching them in the dick. If you keep punching the shaman in the dick, they just don't and suddenly they become extremely mana efficient. On top of the fact that this paladin can just freedom the shaman, he can like run away, let the poisons fall off, and then heal himself up. Blah 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 blah. Blessing of sacrifice, yada yada yada. Okay, so they're trying to play the mana war, and it ends up not working for them. What they should do is wait for these opportunities like we have right here, and start deep dicking the paladin. The reason for this is because if you're not attacking the shaman, he's going to run out of that 30% mana bar super fucking fast. Like within about 20, maybe 30 seconds of the rogue on top of the paladin, the shaman is going to and suddenly your kill window is going to open up. It'll be even worse if the druid has any kind of mana or any kind of any kind of mana to like wrath on the paladin or dot him up while this is happening. I wouldn't dot him up. I take that back. The paladin can cleanse, but you get the idea, right? If the rogue has prep and he gets to use double evasion, he's basically immortal as far as Ret DPS is concerned. Uh, you need Hodge Stun in order to do any real damage against this motherfucker. If Hodge Stun is being very rapidly dispelled, or if it's being PvP trinketed away, or if you used Hodge Stun willy-nilly like a few seconds earlier, and the next thing you know, blah, blah, blah. Repent is the one like little elephant in the room here, because you could repent the rogue and then get like a really good seal twist on the rogue. The odds of that seal twist actually blowing the rogue up, like 100 to zeroing the rogue, is like, it's there, but it's only like a 20% chance, maybe 30%, somewhere around there. Really hard to say. But after that, you ain't got shit. And the shaman's going to go super, super fast. So I really enjoyed watching these two fights back to back, because I got to see what it looks like when a rogue and a druid try to play like this long mana war game for like trying to kill them in like a phase 4 or a type 4 kill, right? They're trying to do a type 4 kill, okay? And our paladin is kind of like, our paladin wasn't being very mana efficient for a long time there. And he may or may not be mana efficient right now. Really hard to say. But because the paladin, how do I put this? The enemy has a kill window here, and it's kind of the paladin's fault, is my theory on what's happening right now. I think this would have had a much higher win rate if the Ret Paladin went into this fight with the idea that I'm not going to seal twist, I'm not going to waste my fucking mana. If I have a Reckoning charge, I'll definitely seal twist. But if I don't have Reckoning, I'm just going to stick to this Shaman with Seal of Justice like glue. And I'm just going to lean on the Druid with like a rank 1 with either Seal of Blood or rank 1 Seal of Command. And I'm just going to let my DPS do the talking over the course of like 4 or 5 minutes of fighting, right? We should not. This should be a completely different situation if he had done that. The Druid would still be quite low on mana at this point. The difference would be the Ret Paladin would have like 30% or 40% of a mana bar left to play with. This would make him incredibly lethal right now. On top of the fact that it helps protect the Ret Paladin from this possible all-in that the rogue could do with like prep and evasion and shit like that. Right. Would I want to wear a shield if I was watching a rogue double popping evasion? Like, that's the other thing you can do is recognize the direness of the situation a little bit earlier and be like, oh shit, they're going for me with like double evasion. They're trying to my my healer while doing this. I need to survive this as long as possible, as mana efficient, as long as possible. Basically, I got to time that out. Wait for my next Hodge stun. Wait for the evasions to fall off. Blah blah blah. Having bubble as a tool is really good. But what would be really nice right now is to have like 30% or 40% of a mana bar. You know what I mean? Because at that point you can just be like, you can weather the storm a bit and then bubble and literally use your mana bar to heal your own damn self up a bit, and that would probably be enough to push you over the edge, so you could survive basically what's essentially an all-in from the enemy team, and then kill them afterwards. Anyways, I just wanted to bring that up, like how. If the enemy team is attacking your shaman, as near as I can tell, you're incredibly mana efficient as a team. But if the enemy ever grows a brain and realizes how your seal twist and your damage actually works, there are these potential reversals from them. And I think those windows close for our enemies if you're just being a bit more mana conscious as your Ret Paladin. Anyways, I'll end the video here in Deus Vult. I would also point out that in these longer fights, that owl fucking figurine would have ended this thing like a million fucking years ago. Like holy shit, he's like, oh, I got a reckoning proc. Okay, let me just push the owl and blow and do so much fucking damage to this motherfucker that they could theoretically heal, but they're kind of right now, so they're just gonna fall over dead. But the exact same thing would have happened if we were just being more mana efficient. This fight probably would have ended a long time ago. So be advised, this is just your friendly PSA to the Ret Paladins. Consider being more mana efficient. Consider being more mana efficient. Consider your longer mana war game and go for a type 3 kill as opposed to blowing all your mana on a type 1 or a type 2. Anyways, end the video here. Deus Volt.